Lauren Balfe off the jump with this. I want
Going.
any for everyone after y'all finish this movie, go to Spotify, Apple Music, whatever, and go look up Lauren Balfe Curtain Call because when this
Are
movie
you
ends, he hits us with the hardest Mission Impossible theme.
are you guys Spotify or Apple Music people?
I do both.
Spotify because I have a
Damn, you
family
do
plan.
both? Damn.
I do both.
Fucking Mr. Moneybags over here.
No, it really is just more of like a
It's like
convenience
10 bucks a
thing.
month. It's like
You
10
know,
bucks a month.
Mr. Moneybags over here. Even then, it's still a lot. Um, Lauren Balfe didn't do the score for Final Reckoning. You know that?
We did it.
Really?
Yeah,
Lauren
that's
Balfe.
one thing that I saw as soon as I was like sitting in the theater, and I was like, "Damn!" Like he
We
didn't
did
do
it.
it.
Who did it?
Um,
Score.
I can't remember who did it, but I remember his name did not show up.
As long as it's not Brian Tyler, I'm good.
Actual Dead
So
Reckoning. Oh,
this opening has to
Final
be a
Reckoning.
love
That's what it's called,
letter
right? I typed
to
in. You'll love this. I typed in Dead Reckoning Part 2 score.
Martin's gotten to your mind. He's in you. He inception you. Okay, so this whole sequence, all the outside stuff is CG, but I just want to say
Music
this is
by
Crimson Tide. If you're listening to this, you haven't seen Crimson Tide or you haven't seen it in like a year or 2 years, go turn on Crimson Tide, 1995, Tony Scott, Denzel, Gene Hackman, and a bunch of other people you know.
I
And
will
it is
say,
truly one of the best
seeing
sub
this scene
movies.
in the sequence is a little weird now that I've seen what
The
follows it.
next one,
Yeah.
the music in the new one is by
the production
Max
designer,
Arouge and Alfie Godfrey. Never heard of them.
randoms. Okay.
They do give Lauren Balfe a credit for.
The theme, maybe?
I think it's because it was one of those things where it was like he did the original thing for this one, and so it was like they kind of picked it up on it. So like you know how Michael Giacchino did the score for Rogue One,
Yeah.
Mm,
it's like based off of like the original score that John Williams did for some of the
Yeah.
other Star Wars films. So it's like one of
Yeah,
those
I
things where
got
it's
you.
like he gets his name is in there somewhere. I remember that, but
yeah, like
it
based
wasn't the
on, yeah.
music.
So everybody that's in this scene, in this submarine scene, the co-writer, Chris Gendrison, if I'm remembering his name correctly, he casted everybody. He cast everyone just off their photos because the entire point of this whole scene is that he wants, like, they want to make sure that you are rooting for these people to live, and everybody looks so Russian and they look so,
Them
charismatic to
Dutch
the roles
angles.
that
Look
they
at them
have.
Dutch angles, though.
So the reason for the Dutch angles, even though we would
I was
say,
talking about it the last
Kenneth
episode too.
Branagh
I was like
homage,
saying, I literally said it. I was like, you guys wait till we get to Dead Reckoning because there's so many Dutch angles, and the new
but
one
do you
has a
know
lot
why?
too.
It's just to stack the frame. That's all it is. He wanted dynamic framing where you can stack a frame with multiple people within one frame. So he's just like, okay, just out of necessity, we're doing Dutches.
I mean, I don't completely agree with why he chose to do it because you can
Yeah,
still kind of do it.
you're right. I know, but I'm just telling you their reasoning. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't do the same thing either. I
He's just
would throw
relaying
in
the
Dutch angles,
information.
but
They're
not a lot.
wrong. They're wrong. They made the movie.
Tell
They
them,
got it made. It went to theaters. That's the reason they made no money. It's because they're wrong.
tell them to
Okay.
meet me by the flagpole at 3. I got some things, some thoughts.
I got some shit to say.
Speaking of
I
Crimson
would.
Tide, where the fuck is the 4K? What are we doing here?
I know. And
It's
in
30
Crimson
years.
Tide, this movie it looks like trash compared to Crimson Tide, no offense.
Oh,
Even though
yeah.
this scene looks good. They do add in
Yeah.
the
This
I think
movie,
he calls it the Tony Scott level of sweat. I think it's like like sweat level
oh,
1,
the
sweat level
sweat on their
2
face.
Dude,
as the scene goes on.
the sweat in Crimson Tide is like
Iconic.
cinema sweat.
I do want to like it gets worse as we go to like the airport sequence after this, but I do think that this movie really suffers from the visual style looks like a TV show.
I think that it's the lighting.
It's the lighting and the editing. The editing in this one is really goofy if you really pay attention.
I
Like
mean,
especially
you've
during
seen
some
it.
of
I've heard the editing in the new one is kind of goofy too.
dude, the new one has some really weird transitions where I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like are we doing Star Wars prequels? Like what is this? And it was
Yeah,
insane.
give me some
I'm locked in, I'll
iMovie. Give
tell
me
you
some
that.
iMovie transitions.
No, without this isn't gonna spoil the movie, but there are literally transitions where I was thinking like this was done with like like iMovie or Final Cut or something.
Yeah.
Like there was one really good transition that I was like, yo, like that hits hard, but everything else was very much like, why does it look like this?
Hmm. I was telling Vikash before you hopped on that I didn't rewatch this. This is the first time rewatching it, so
I
should be
rewatched it
interesting.
before Final Reckoning, and
This should be interesting.
I did sour on it a little bit, mainly just because I think the first time I watched this, I was just on such an excited level, and I was in such a high of like
Mhm.
wanting to just experience this world that I loved it so much.
I like this movie,
But having sat
but
with it, it's definitely one of those that I'm
yeah,
like, it's not as
Yeah.
strong as Fallout. It's definitely like a step down. I
it
think
was already at a like in the mid tier. It's it's better than other ones. It's not as great as 5 or
Like the
6
middle of the
by
pack.
far.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's number 3 or 4.
I mean, I have a hard time like really, really hating a Mission Impossible film.
no,
But
I don't
even if I
this
don't
one-
find
hate
it,
any of
it
them.
had-
Even
this-
Yeah.
two that is like just hard to get through.
dude,
It's
yeah,
like
good, yeah.
was a-
I have it a
you did
3 out of
something, you
5.
tried.
Fun.
There's some dissolves in
Got
the
fun
scene
parts.
where I think he does like 5 frame, 2 frame dissolves, very soft dissolves from what Eddie was talking about. So the entity, I'll talk about it real quick. They had a friends and family screening for this. I think I told you about this before, but Edgar Wright was there. You know, they're in London making this movie, and Edgar was like, "I don't feel the entity like sonically," and
You're
from
saying
their
this.
perspective, they're like, "Oh yeah, like we have a sound there already," but it's like, no, the sound just wasn't working. It wasn't like being recognized. This little like
Mhm.
sound we're hearing, and the talk to the sound department, and they had this sound from something just ready to go, and they tweaked it a little bit, and then it's just a great, sonic message of like, oh yeah, this is the entity.
This is one of the most
Ah.
expensive films ever made. Jim.
I will say, I'll talk about that in a second, but
Just
I
a little
want to get it out of the
40
way right
a
away.
nice 30 mil behind the Electric State. It's okay though.
So
Fuck, dude,
Ah.
State.
I love Person
Come
of
on, dude,
Interest.
number
I
one film of the year.
love we just did Terminator, and we're gonna do Terminator 2 soon. I love stories about artificial intelligence,
We had
and
to kind of take a step back on Terminator just because I had the
'Cause of
bright
this.
idea of saying we should do
Oh,
all
the
the
fuck.
Mission
I mean-
Impossible movies.
but like it's rare for me, like after seeing Person of Interest, to see a good take on artificial intelligence. This one, it's solid. It's not great. I think
Would you say
Person of
hers?
Interest does something fantastic.
So without
I told you about this guy. His name is James, or it's like James. James Phelps is Alex James Phelps, and John Voight's character in the first movie's name is James Phelps. So it's
I'm
just
not gonna say anything,
funny.
but that there's something that comes back from the first one.
this is one of the last things they shot. Tom's got a wig on here.
Was this he probably was about to go shoot Top Gun, no?
No,
would-
no. They were shooting 8 already, so he had the
Oh,
long
I'm thinking
hair.
I'm thinking of Fallout, sorry.
Speaking of AI, and
Thinking of
just
Fallout.
that being a plot point, what do you guys think is the best film that illustrates AI?
That's what I'm
Whether-
saying.
Whether
For
no,
me,
no,
it's
you can't say Person of
Terminator
Interest.
2
Oh,
and
Terminator
Person of
2.
Interest. That's it.
Person of Interest doesn't count. It's a show. I said movie.
Yeah. He said movie.
Listen,
Terminator 2
listen
with your ears. Dude, nice.
Me and Pat both
That's what I
said the
said.
same
It's
shit.
Terminator 2 and
Cook
Person of
his
Interest.
ass.
I haven't found anything else.
You could make the argument that it is 2001: A Space Odyssey. But...
I love.
Nah.
I think 2001. Yeah, it's up there. I'd say it's
It's
like
up
top
there.
3 or 4. Okay,
What
I
about
don't think
Steven
it's the best
Spielberg's
one,
Artificial
but-
Intelligence,
dude. Actually, Steven Spielberg's AI movie
written by Stanley Kubrick?
pisses me off. That movie pisses me off. I said it.
Oh, what?
It
What?
pisses me off. The second half falls off so hard.
Dude, I'm gonna text him right now.
Text
What
him.
if he just,
Don't give a shit.
what if he just, what if he just
Actually,
appeared
put
on
him
the
on.
screen?
Put him
What'd
on
you
right
say?
now.
And he just appears. Hey guys.
Empire of the Sun is great, dude. Yeah, no.
Oh, I saw Empire of the Sun yesterday. I was gonna text you, but it was $70. I was like, I don't think he wants that.
So
Where?
this photo is
At
I
Book
think it's
Off.
days. It's the Days
That's
of
book
Thunder
off. It
hair.
was $70. I was like, dude, that's come on. I put it back. $70.
I might have bought it,
Dude.
honestly.
There's probably a 4K coming. Just wait. $70 is ridiculous. I was like, I literally picked it up. I was like, no one's buying this, and I put it back down.
I would have bought it.
Dude,
That's the thing
you
is I
still
would have
have-
bought it.
They still have a copy of Morbius there for $45. $45. On
So
Blu-ray.
Brand new copy. No
uh,
one wants to fucking buy it. They gotta make their money back
Who's
somehow.
buying this?
So the casting for this woman, they went through a bit of it and they found the right woman, but they cut a lot of her stuff out for this movie. And I don't know how much they have of her in the next movie. We're in such a gray space, but I'm
It's not a spoiler, so I'm
interested.
gonna answer it. It's
No,
not
no, good,
much.
good. It's not much.
It's about
Okay.
what you see here is pretty much what you see in the next movie. With anything,
So it's
with
more.
anything
It's not more than 2
flashback
minutes.
related to Si Morales' character and this whole flashback thing that you just saw in this movie, it's about the same in the next movie.
Okay, understood.
I hear what you're talking about the frame dissolves, how they're very
Yeah.
quick.
Does this have IMAX ratio change or no?
No,
This one does not.
which pissed me off because I saw the movie in IMAX. I took 10 or 15 people to go see it in IMAX,
And you didn't need to.
and
You still got the
The
you still
fun-
got the audio. What are you sitting here
Yeah.
dogging on IMAX for? I saw the creator in IMAX and it was still a great time.
it was. But no,
You gotta
but
put your
hold on.
IMAX hat on. Put
I'm
your
not
IMAX hat
done
on.
with my statement yet.
Put it on in
The
a different
funny
room. I'm
part
not going
was
I'm
when
not
we
gra-
saw
I'm not
the
standing up
movie.
to get a hat.
Did y'all see the featurette that they had for Rome, like the Rome chase?
Yeah.
It was like 3-4 minutes. They put it in front of the movie still, and we were all steaming. We were all angry, like, "Yo, we're about to watch the movie. Why is this before the movie? Stop wasting time. Let's watch the movie."
That was like when I
Like literally, my buddy texted me
How
because
many
we're
was
seeing
that?
Final Reckoning on Thursday, and he's like, "Hey, I hope they don't do that again because that sucked."
There's a movie I saw recently where they played the trailer in the upcoming trailers. But we were about to watch the movie.
It happens. So
Because they're all
the
preset.
the lead up to this scene, there's a lot more that they shot in the desert, but it just didn't work like for the pacing, so they had to cut it out. That seems to be a lot of what this movie is. They just had to cut a lot of stuff down in this movie.
Trying to do too much. I'm
I
wondering
think
if
it
the COVID kind of hurt that. Is that
So
probably
when it
why?
came to COVID, I told you all the story about how they were gonna start shooting in March or February of 2020,
2020? Yeah.
and then Christopher McQuarrie went there with his wife, and she had her dog on her, and they're doing thermal scans, and they took his wife in, and he saw what the ordeal was, even with a false positive of like the thermal temperature, and he told Tom like, "Don't even come from London, stay there. Like we're not
Mhm.
starting to shoot this movie," and he went to Tom Cruise's room at their hotel that they were supposed to be staying at, and he and Eddie Hamilton were editing Top Gun Maverick while they're evacuating Venice, which is crazy. But he was like, that's literally the only way to deal with this. Like, I could not deal with what was going on.
Yeah.
I think these are pickups, or not pickups, it's in the set.
Nice. It's a great shot. Very
So,
old school. Old
the
school
funny
pick up
thing-
binoculars with huge
Yeah.
binoculars, like you can
I was
see.
gonna say, you can see the
you can
shot.
see-
It makes you think of
Yeah.
like Casino.
so
Or like, yeah, or like a
Rebecca
Rear Window
Ferguson
kind
couldn't
of.
blink. Like, she couldn't wink to
Oh
like
yeah, that's
go
why
into
they
the camera.
did the thing with
They
the
did the
eye
patch,
patch.
which is hilarious.
Dude, okay. Do you guys want to know some crazy lore that I learned about eye patches and shit?
Wait, it's
Yeah.
about
To
it's
get
about
this shit
pirates.
Yes.
Can I say it?
No.
Or do you wanna say it?
Because I think you know what it is.
I know what it
It's
is. I'm not
so
gonna say that.
stupid. Okay.
It's not gonna
This
So-
is
I'm not gonna say it.
awesome.
For our audience members listening, I'm gonna explain this. I'm gonna give you
It's
guys.
really
a minute
weird.
to
I brought
think
this up
about it.
yesterday. I brought this up yesterday. It's really weird.
Did
that
you?
just
Because
brought
This
this
is
up.
ILM
I
on the
found this out like
VFX.
2 or 3 years ago, and I've just thought about it ever since. Whenever I see anybody with an eye patch, when you see someone with an eye patch in a movie, or even in real life, maybe you think to yourself, or even in pirate movies, you think
Mhm.
to yourself, that person is missing an eye. That person does not have an eye there, or maybe their eye is injured, maybe they're sick, whatever. The reason that people wear eye patches in pirate
So when he
movies-
just shot the gun, it was the theme of Mission Impossible. He was like, boom, boom.
Let him
boom.
finish his pirate story.
Go ahead.
I don't even want to anymore, actually.
I'll finish it. So when they
No,
went to the
no, 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 no,
smuggler's-
let me- Okay, so the reason that they wear an eye patch is because since they're out in the sun all day and the sun is hitting them and they're looking at nothing
shot.
but bright sunlight, they have the eye patch that they can switch it from one eye to the next,
Mhm.
and their eyes adjusted to darkness. That when they go
Yep.
below deck, they can find what they need to quickly.
Yep, exactly. I thought that's a
That
cool
is the
fact,
dumbest
man.
thing.
I thought that's cool.
No, it crumbles everything I
I
know.
love
about
this
pirates.
sequence. What do you think about this sequence, Martin? I
It's
think
great.
it's
It's
I think
fantastic.
visually it's compelling too.
Why didn't you
Visually,
ask?
there's a
Why didn't
lot
you
of
ask
stuff
me what
happening.
I thought about it?
They did the actual sand, the fan with the
He's not
sand,
even
but
listening to it.
they also packed it up. I'm not
Probably
listening.
because I'm talking about pirates over here.
Yo,
In a
if we want
way,
to talk about pirates,
these
we
guys
can
are
run
kind
the
of
Gore
pirates.
Verbinski trilogy.
The trilogy. We're not doing anything past 3 though.
That's
Let
what
us
I'm
know,
saying. The
viewers.
trilogy.
talking
Let
That's
us
it.
know, listeners. Do you guys want a Pirates of the Caribbean episode trilogy?
We're just number 5 though, not any other one.
I would never do 5. I tried rewatching 4 and 5 after I watched the first 3. Like after
I think I owned the 4th one.
It
I think
is
it's in like a
I
pack.
own both of
disgusting.
them. They
It
both
It is
look,
disgusting
they're
to
It's in,
watch
like, a
him
sticker
back to
game.
back.
hard. On Stranger Tides is actually okay, like on a rewatch, but they're pretty
Not
rough.
as bad as 5. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 is horrendous. This look that Tom Cruise has with the that suit reminds me of
I
Val
will
Kilmer a
say,
bit.
no shot at him, but he's starting to look a little older in this one.
No,
so far.
in this one
So-
he looks older. Oh, the title
There's
cards I
my-
was talking about. I hate them.
This
Here's
is
my
Charles
Top Gun man.
Parnell from Top Gun Maverick. Indira Viswastan, great actress. The first guy
in
talking
Game of
was
Thrones?
From Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Stephen
Terry Ellis?
Moffat. You all recognize him, right? From Sherlock. He's a writer himself in his own right.
Rob Delaney here.
This movie has
Yeah.
an insane cast.
He was just
This
in
is
our,
everybody. This is
Vince
essentially like,
Vaughn.
hey, who can we get who's available in
yeah.
London to come out real quick?
You know
Yeah,
what's
Rob Delaney
interesting
was
is
in,
that the new
Showtime
movie,
for Sex recently.
the new movie Final Reckoning also has a lot of like roles like
Talky
this, where
scenes.
it's like
Yeah,
talky scenes where it's
Mhm.
just the most random famous people you've ever seen, and it's just like
Nick
yeah, they're
Offerman.
here. They're here.
Yeah.
Nick Offerman's pretty good. He doesn't do a lot, but when he does, it's very well done.
The biggest thing he's impressed me with was Devs, Alex Garland's Devs.
He was good in
Resume
the one Last of Us episode he's in. He's good in that.
Yeah,
The
Same
third
level of
episode,
work. Yeah, third, fourth.
Long,
I
long
don't
time.
remember.
Yeah, whatever.
It's a good episode.
Yeah.
There's some good CG in this movie.
There
So
is.
the problem with this set
Whoa,
was
is that the guy from Liar Liar?
they weren't supposed to shoot in the set, or no, the set was supposed to be like there's supposed to be a different location this was set in technically, but because of COVID, they had to change things around, and by the time they actually got to shooting it, they were really pissed that the place just looked really flat. So he does a lot of like crossing the line within the scene
Mhm.
just to like keep you in tune. I don't know if I've told you all this. I've talked about the test screening stuff, but they also track when people go to the bathroom during test screenings, so they know where
They
the
do.
pace is
They do.
like going
They
up
do.
and
Yeah.
down.
They I'm not gonna say which ones I've been to, but I've been to 2 or 3 major test screenings here in Atlanta, and it's really weird to watch a movie in that way because a lot of times the music is. I mean, you guys know how they
Temp
go, but,
music?
like
Yeah.
temp music, and so you end up hearing music from different movies, and it's one of those things where like if
Jarring.
you watch a lot of movies and
Yeah.
you recognize scores, it's one of those things where it's so like funny to think
There was
about. A lot of
I have a
unfinished
funny story of
CG.
that.
No, go ahead.
Like how unfinished.
For I saw
blue
a very
screen, right?
very what in 2017 I saw a very very early cut of what was the first Into the Spider-Verse and the first one.
Yeah,
Into the Spider.
yeah.
And the
Oh,
part
there's
where
all
he jumps
storyboards, huh?
where he a lot of it, yeah, where the part where he jumps off the building, they had the Man of Steel theme in it, like the from the trailer
Yeah.
or whatever.
Oh, instead of
And I
What's Up,
remember
Danger?
when someone on Twitter like put that theme over it, like this would have been sick, and everyone was dogging on him, and I was like, damn, they actually put that in the original fucking first cut. I was like, he wasn't far off.
A lot of times, to answer your question, Vikash, with
Henry
the
Zierdy,
CG,
man.
they use PNGs and they just swipe them across the screen depending on what it is. Sometimes they really don't do anything with it. They may just leave it blank, but they'll put like notes at the bottom, whatever it might be. It's fun though.
Yeah,
It's definitely interesting.
I'm glad Zierny's back. He's got such a
crush.
he's just got that charisma, that like
Got that dog
stage
in him.
presence.
Woo-woo.
We see Angela
Bassett.
in the in the photo. She's in the next movie, but she is president now.
She is in
President
the new
Bassett.
movie, and she's in it for more than people are probably gonna think.
How's my woman Hannah Waddingham in Final Reckoning?
How's my boy? Actually, I want to keep. I'm not gonna ask him.
I already know Hannah's probably
Won't be
got like a
surprised,
small role,
even though
so
I'm not gonna be able to
like
see
I'm not
this.
worried about it.
I'm not gonna be able to see it until like the week after, but it's okay. We'll live.
Carrie's fantastic. Another casting that
You
oddly
know, the first
Carrie
movie I
was.
saw of his wasn't Princess Bride. It was Liar Liar.
Oh, okay.
He's like
Mine
the
was.
quote unquote like new stepdad almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carrie is the
Great,
villain
great
in
fucking movie.
Stranger Things season 3, I think. He's actually
Yeah,
really great in that. And I was just
which
like,
I
oh
which
yeah, I
I thought
forgot.
I remember when I was whatever how long ago was that? Like 7 years ago at this point. But I thought they
Yeah.
had recast what's his face for him. Uh, what's his fucking name, dude? I'm drawing
Oh,
blanks
are you
today.
talking about David Harbour?
No, not David Harbour. Matthew Modine.
Oh,
I was like, did they recast? I was
Matthew
like,
Modine. So
he's in
a
he
little.
has a recurring role in Psych. If y'all have ever seen that, he's fantastic in that.
I've not seen Psych, but I know about it. Little thing about like Final Reckoning is those shots that they were just showing of like Ilsa's character in the desert where they like talking and it's just showing like shots like that.
Yeah.
So imagine the first hour of Final Reckoning and it's just that, but with flashback scenes.
So talking over flashbacks.
Yeah, that's literally how the
are we
entire
spoiling
first
too
act
much?
goes.
Are we spoiling?
No, because I'll tell you this right now: those flashbacks, all of them are in the trailer.
Gotcha. I assume the
Yeah, that's why. That's what I was
first,
saying. I'm like,
the famous
I've
scene in the
I've
first
heard
one.
what they said. I've
But I
managed
guess it
my
is
expectations
kind of is all
downwards
over the
for the
internet.
movie.
Yeah, it
I'm
is kind of all
excited
over the internet.
either way.
I hope it does well at the box office, but we'll see. Apparently, Lilo and Stitch is tracking hard.
Yeah. This dude's face, whoever Tom is actually like
That's Ethan
Ethan's
Hunt.
dressed as,
That's Ethan Hunt.
like
It's Tom
he just
Cruise.
looks scary. He looks horrifying. Like that dude
It's his
would
eyebrows.
be a
It's his
serial
eyebrows.
killer.
I think that's what it is.
It's not just the eyebrows, it's the sharp jaw, it's his eyes. Is it just he looks like he's staring past your soul into the deepest, darkest crevices of your mind, into the darkness that you breed with the negativity. And I'm joking, whatever. I'm listening to all
Looks
this
like
dialogue, and that's what's coming out of my head.
it looks like the actor, his name's Bern Gorman. If you saw his face, you'd be like, oh yeah, that guy.
Oh yeah, that guy. That guy.
That guy. He's got a square face.
That score, Lauren.
This is green, man. Did you guys
The
ever see
trailer
Sharp
for
Objects?
this. Yeah.
I think we talked about this with the first episode, didn't we?
Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah, he's Henry Cerny's in it. Yeah,
This
he's
guy.
great.
Yeah, he's in it.
This guy.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, he
Eliza
does kind of look like
Scanlon.
him. Dude,
Oh, I know.
in Watcher,
He's in a Pacific
he's in
Rim and a
Watcher.
couple
He's
he's
of
in Watcher,
fantastic
yeah.
in Watcher.
Yeah,
he's
He's in
Watcher,
Dark
great.
Knight
he's the
Rises.
villain.
Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, he was in the Hunger Games, the more recent one too. He's in like a couple scenes. Played like a
In
general or something.
in
Ballad of
Ballad. Yeah.
Songbirds.
He's in the back end of Ballad. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, that guy. He's
I
like
like
the guy
him.
when you see
He's a great character.
whenever you
This
see
fucking guy's
whenever he's like the epitome of character actor. He plays like, oh yeah, I love that guy. He's a good actor.
I understand what you mean, Martin. Right here, the shot of Tom. It just
What?
feels. It feels TV,
Yeah, one thing
and
I
not
do
good
like
TV. I'm talking about like
this-
2010
I think they're
digital
trying to
camera
make it
TV.
this scene
Opening-
specifically feels like the first Mission Impossible.
But one thing I like
Mainly
about
because
it
it's
is that
Henry
it
Cerny,
is
yeah.
yes, just like that. But also the tables on this one have turned, where he's the one in control here.
I guess especially the way it's shot, it's like they're trying to go back to Palma.
Oh, 1,000%. That's
Yeah.
why the Dutch angles I think work for me in that scene because it's like you're paying homage there, but it's like you're doing it the whole
to
movie. I
someone
just
who's
can't
in
do
the
this.
first one. Yeah. Yeah, going from Fallout to like this, like I can tell visually it's a step down.
It's the lighting. It's the
Mhm.
lighting. There's a lot, and I think it's shots like this where they're very colorful and they look as good as they do. Like that scene where they're in that office and the green really pops, but at the same time it just looks very dull.
But I think it's the same problem. So if y'all have y'all seen Velvet Buzzsaw?
Yes, and
I have not.
I think the
No.
same thing about that movie. It looks horrendous.
But
I
you
don't think this
understand
one
what I'm
looks
saying,
horrendous,
that
but
Yeah.
Bob Elswit shot
That Tony
Rogue
Gilmore?
Nation, right? But when he went and started shooting, he shot Nightcrawler on film, and then he shot I had mentioned
Well,
Skyscraper.
actually,
He also shot
let's
that on
let's kind
digital.
of
It just
dissect
felt
this a little
wrong.
bit. Velvet
Go ahead.
Buzzsaw, was that? I don't think shooting digital is inherently like the worst thing in the world. Like it can look good, but
No.
Oh, I
the
know. It's
problem with
just
Velvet
in their
Buzzsaw
hands. Yeah,
was that Netflix produced or did they buy it?
they bought it. That was
Where did they
still
buy it?
Dan Gilroy.
Let me see. Velvet Buzz Saw 2019. Someone's seen this.
You
On
don't need
YouTube.
to. It's
Had
a
its world premiere
it's
in
a
2019 Sundance. Yeah, it premiered at Sundance. So yeah, I
But
assume
did
that's
it's a
Netflix
why.
produce
janky.
and they bought it?
Distributed by Netflix production company Netflix though.
So yeah, so they produced it. You see,
They
that's why it looks
produced
like
it.
that.
Yeah,
It's
they
because
probably
they called the
bought
shots on
they bought the
everything.
script at probably
But the
that's
interesting thing is that then Bob Elswit goes to shoot Ripley, which is also Netflix, and it looks completely
yeah.
different, a
I
whole lot
think
better.
they definitely have their liberties on specific things. Like I think once you've kind of earned your spot with Netflix, they're a little bit more accepting. That's why Noah Baumbach gets the chance to do movies like Marriage Story
Fincher
on film.
gets his. Yeah,
You have
Fincher shoots digital,
Scorsese
but
able to do The Irishman, the way that he wants to. But
yeah.
at the same time, it
But
is
that's the
very
thing.
much like
Everything you just mentioned, for the most part, is shooting. They're either or half of them are shooting film and half of them are shooting digital, but
Mhm.
they
well,
still
what's the
look good.
requirement for a lot of them? I think some of them look good. It depends.
Yeah.
Like the ones you just mentioned.
Well, they look good
Irishman
because
This
they're in
looks
the
looks
good.
hands
this
of
looks better
actually
than
like
this looks better than
filmmakers.
90% of Netflix movies. So,
It's not bad. It's just we've seen better. We literally just watched better, so it's like it just feels baffling that this is
mhm.
where we are, and it's like you can try as hard as you can, but it's like you know Macquarie pulled up Fraser McTaggart to shoot
They
this, and
were they
he
were
should have gone
also
with maybe someone more seasoned.
the big thing about this movie too that we're probably not considering is that COVID
Yeah.
maybe
That's what I was
restricted
saying
a lot
earlier. I
of what
think
they would
I
have
think
liked to
When it
do,
came
COVID
to
how many
this,
cast or how many crew
hindered
members they
them a
had.
lot. Yeah.
no, but they or when it comes to that, when they shut down, they did keep their department heads and a lot of people on for from March all the way to September when they started shooting again. Because Tom realized like this is gonna affect everybody and we gotta worry about people's families at this point. So there were some shifts, but they tried to keep everybody on and it was not an easy shoot in a sense because
Mhm.
people were trying to stay together and like get close to each other, but they could not get close to each other. And it got to a point where Macquarie literally had to turn his monitor to a corner and turn around from everybody else and just sit in a corner and direct. And then people started kind of following the rules. And we've obviously heard the audio of
I
Tom
was gonna
Cruise
say
going
I was
Mhm.
off
gonna
on
bring
these
that up.
people, and he's
Yeah.
100% valid.
My
Like
thing
this
with
is a
that
safety
audio
issue. It's a
is that
production
like
issue.
when that happened, I remember that there's some people bashing him, and I'm like, listen, I get that he's maybe
Mhm.
like being that way, but how many times did he ask them nicely off camera and off that recording
Oh yeah.
to do it
And not
without
It just takes that one time for him to yell is when that
yeah
goes
for
viral.
someone to be like, oh, he's crashing out. Like that's not true
Yeah.
at all.
and,
Question
and
about
it's
this
yeah.
in the title card. How do you guys feel about title cards coming in as late as this? Because this was 30 minutes, 28 minutes.
Did it feel like 28 minutes?
No, it didn't. But that's my
Exactly.
point is that
No.
like there are some movies where you're watching it and you're like, whoa, we're like an hour in and we just got the title card.
Drive My Car was the one you
Yeah.
mentioned specifically.
That was exactly the one I was thinking about. Actually, funny. Drive My Car
I think
is I think like
120
40 or 50
127
minutes in.
hours is like 25, I think. Almost 20.
Uh,
Mickey 17 recently is one that I think of the most, but that's like 17 minutes. And then Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, I want to say was about 30 minutes too.
Mm.
I don't know off the top of my head for real how much it was just because I didn't have my phone on me, but if I had to take a guess, probably 30 minutes, give or take.
Dead Reckoning
Part
Part One.
one.
It pisses me off that it says part
What?
one, dude.
Dude. Is this like a relic now? Should I sell
So
this? Part one?
I wonder if the 4K that you can buy now has been like altered at all.
Did they
Like
re-edit it?
So
They
these
probably
two,
did. If they put out the new
uh,
box set, they're probably gonna
so
re-edit
this is
it.
Tarzan Davis, who y'all recognize from Top
There's my
Gun,
man.
and Shea Wiggum.
Shea Wiggum.
I already told the story, but I'll say it for perpetuity on this one. That Shea Wiggum saw Christopher McQuarrie, I think, at an agent's like house party or something, and he was like, "Yeah, guys, I really love what y'all do, and I'd love to be in this thing." And so randomly, he was just like, "Okay, I guess Shea Wiggum's in our movie. I don't know what role you're playing it, but you're gonna be in the movie." And
Pat,
then they didn't have it figured out.
hold up your
And
4K for Dead Reckoning real fast.
I need to turn like the blur off, but
Where does it say part 1 on your 4K? Is it right
right
below the
here,
title? They
right
changed
here,
it. They changed
part
the
one.
artwork for the
It
4K.
says
It
it on the
doesn't say it
spine
on here.
too.
Hold on, I don't think you can see it on here. It's too
You get,
bright.
It says it on the spine too, part one.
It doesn't say it on here.
Oh damn.
of course.
They changed it.
Damn, this is out of print. Out of
So
print. On it
for
for 90
Tarzan,
bucks.
so they told Shay and they told Tarzan, they told both of them like, hey, we don't know what role you're playing. You might be in the movie, you might not be in the movie at the end of the movie, but we'd really love to work with y'all. And both of them were just game to do whatever they were doing. And they end up being added to pretty much every single scene in this movie after 30 minutes, right? They're always on his case. And I assume they explore why he knows Tom or Ethan later, but Shea Wiggum is always a
When you
plus
say later, do you mean in Final Reckoning?
in Final Reckoning. Yeah,
Actually, mean in Joker 2.
I'm not gonna say how,
Or
but
Joker
yes, they
3,
do.
sorry.
this
I
airport
remember
was an
being in
unopened
the
airport, so they essentially just got lucky that it's Tom Cruise and it's like, oh yeah, like you
yeah.
can shoot in our unopened airport, and they already have a good relationship with those people.
I remember being in the theater at this scene, and I was just like, literally again, I was just like, damn, these guys are getting old. Like,
Oh
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
tell,
it's Tom
like-
specifically. I remember thinking like, man, you're getting old.
And when it cuts to Simon too, I was like, damn, he's getting old
Luther
too.
too. Luther's probably the one that has.
Yeah.
He doesn't look as old, but he's also the one that feels the most old.
Oh yeah.
Black don't crack.
But as doing this rewatch, it's just like, damn, I just watched them age I just watched Tom Cruise age 30 years. This man of
It's
like
crazy
2
to have that
weeks.
feeling and realizing that like someone you're watching is getting older as you just watch older movies.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
just spanned 30 years in 2 weeks for us or 3 weeks. I need Shavigan to have a beard in every movie he's in. I like this clean shaven Shay. Clean shaven Shay, no.
do y'all know
I need
Shay's
bearded
daughter?
Shay.
Uh, I think her name's Georgette Wiggum. She's in the TED show. I know her from a couple other things, but really talented too. She's funny, real funny.
Is she the one that Ted goes in on in that clip that I've seen? Actually, seen the
I
show.
guess
I've
she's
seen
kind of
that
got
clip
like
before,
dreads
but I
hair.
have not seen
Not
the
gonna lie.
show.
Not
I
gonna
know
lie. That
exactly
actually,
what you're talking
Not
about.
gonna lie,
surprisingly,
that show was kind of funny. Not gonna lie, I watched it. It was
no,
pretty funny.
surprisingly, it is very funny.
Yeah,
I hear it's good.
because
It
Ted
is
2 I
it,
was
it is
not high
genuinely
on.
good.
Ted I think is still pretty funny, but Ted 2 is
I mean,
not.
I would
I wasn't
recommend the
high on
show
Ted
over the
2.
movies. I'd recommend the show.
Yeah, and they're
highly
making an
over the
animated
movies.
series right now too.
I mean, run
They
it into the
MCU the
ground.
fucking Ted.
But yeah, I will
universe.
say, Ted, that first season was actually pretty damn funny. I'm not gonna lie.
I can't wait for a season 2. I mean, just might as well.
Yeah, I don't know if they transitioned season 2 to just do animated or what, but
They're probably doing both.
yeah. But yeah, that clip's like famous of now Ted when he goes in on the girl at school. Like, damn, Ted.
What is he saying to the girl?
He basically just because she like making fun of the teacher who is technically like what's his face's mom, Mark Wahlberg's younger version mom is a substitute.
Oh,
And then she's making fun of her, like her outfit, and then Ted just
Oh.
goes in on her, and even like
yeah,
what's
no,
his
that's
face,
a
like,
different girl, but
"Damn,
yeah,
Ted."
it's hilarious.
Damn,
No,
Ted.
but the woman, I forgot her name, the actress playing the mother in that, she's fantastic. She's also the mother in Euphoria.
She's in
for
Last of Us right
Cassie.
now, but she's
Ah.
most famously Legally Blonde. She's one of Elle's
Legally
friends.
Blonde. Yeah, I see her name in my head, but it's like it's
Yeah,
so this guy right here. I'm pretty sure IMDb says like the dude Shea Wiggum was just like, can I just put my hand in your mouth real quick? It's
it
like,
makes
okay,
it funny.
cool.
It's funnier like going in the
I think
mouth. That's funnier.
McQuarrie said that a lot of Shea Wiggum's stuff is just him going ham. He's like, oh, can I do this? Okay, cool. Let me do this. And like, oh, what you have written is not good enough. Let me up the ante a little bit.
I think it's a good callback though, because it shows us that like they're aware that like he's notorious for the mask shit, like
Mask
IMF.
gag, yeah.
How do you?
That's
guys
what I'm saying. He
feel
knows
about-
him to some extent.
I
Again,
do-
the geography in this scene is fantastic.
The geography is great, but one thing I think really is not really acknowledged about this sequence entirely is that there's like this translation of technology for anybody who doesn't know what's going on with the AI thing, where like they're actively showing the audience members like how this entity is working against them as well
Yeah.
as for itself, where like it's showing the camera footage and it like shows like how it can like immediately like disappear.
Yeah.
It's very precise. I like
It's
it.
subtle.
It's very subtle, but it does a good job of explaining it.
Or subtle, but it's like when Simon looks at the computer and then it like changes it again, but then you hear the sound of the entity, so it's like,
Yeah, it's subtle.
you know,
so like
something's going on.
You know it's there.
Yeah.
You feel its presence even if you don't see it.
And the crazy thing is that, you know, we're not far from this. That's what it feels like. It's it feels prescient, and I think that's when the work is effective, right? You talk about Terminator. Why is that effective? It feels like that could happen, that people would give AI.
I mean, I kind of want to counter that a little bit, because I agree with you to an extent with the AI being very prescient now, where it's like a thing that people are talking about. But with Terminator, the AI thing is like very bombastic and it's very like over the top, where like, you know, when people think about the future, they overestimate like the things that we are able to do with it. They're able to look at technology in a way that's like, okay, like, yeah, 15. You weren't technically wrong.
I mean,
we were there, but it's just we got there differently. Whereas
the way I think of it is like it's prescient in the sense of like the themes they're talking about, but the way it's going about it is always lofty. Like this is obviously lofty, but like, you know, it feels.
I don't find it to be lofty.
Grounded.
I find it to be very like grounded in the sense that like the AI isn't just like some AI entity robot that's trying to kill people. It's like this abstract concept of like a hard drive on a ship, the way that you see in the movie, but also it's not going after just destroying the world. It's going after like the information and the crumbling of information, the way that people process information, the way that like communication works.
You can
compare
manipulate
it to Eagle Eye and compare it to Age of Ultron.
Very just well for pop culture. That's what I mean.
Because Age of Ultron and Eagle Eye both have similar kind of takes about this. Bro? And iRobot, great one, three great ones. Isaac Asimov, man. I don't know if you've ever read those.
What about her? What about her?
Her's great.
Actually, funny enough, whenever we were talking about AI movies about AI, I thought of her, not because I think it's like the best one, but I think
that is probably the most.
Actually,
that is the more realistic.
It is one of the best ones.
That is not far off. That type of AI is not far off. Give it 5 years. I spent a long time have that
thinking
the love online. That's not real.
Yeah, like her, I thought about it for a long time as being like a romance movie. And then, you know, me and Zach argued about that for a long, long time. And I finally rewatched her in the last like 3-4 years. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is a science fiction movie through and through.
Yeah.
And I don't know why people don't talk about it. It's still one of my favorite movies.
It was ahead of its time.
Oscar-winning film. Oscar-winning film.
I mean, people
ScarJo should have
the co-creator of Jackass comes her.
What is y'all's favorite movies from Spike? Yeah. It pisses me off that man doesn't direct. It pisses me off. He's fantastic.
What's your favorite movie other than her?
Her.
No, it's a fantastic film.
Adaptation
is a pretty solid movie, but
what other ones has he done?
I mean, like he's a great director. He's a great filmmaker. It's just one of those things where, like, I think
you know what he's great in. He's great in Moneyball. He's only in like one scene. He's like
in the Wolf of Wall
Step husband.
Step Babylon.
He's the step like husband. He's like, he talks about the girl getting her cell phone, and he goes,
"Yeah,
I don't we want to talk about McKenna." And Brad Pitt just goes, "Her mother and I will discuss it." Just the way, and then the way he sits back in his chair, being so small, it's like, dude, it's so good.
He's great in Wolf of Wall Street. His cameo in Her is fantastic.
He's in one.
I'm talking like this. Hey, you want to come with me in the game and we can play together? Come on, let's go.
Being John Malkovich is a great fucking movie.
Yeah. I need to rewatch that. It's been so long. Same thing with adaptation.
He's only made like 4-5 movies. He's made four narrative and then one documentary.
And the Beastie Boys doc.
I heard he made Which All Things Are.
Interestingly, was shot by Autumn Doral Darkapah of Sinners.
He has
fame recently. Coming. I've been a fan of Autumn since Palo Alto, though.
G.A. Coppola film?
Yeah. Haley Atwell. Fantastic.
Bro, isn't that Captain America's like girl?
I was thinking about Black Mirror first, actually.
Yeah, there are
So all this stuff
a lot of
behind
Dutch,
Simon
a lot of
Pegg,
Dutchies in this one. I'm gonna call them Dutchies
the-
from now on.
all the stuff behind Simon is
Dutchie.
green screen.
Dutchy.
Look at that Dutchie.
They did some great CG
Dutchie.
work in this.
Yeah, what's Haley Atwell in that's besides Marvel Cinematic Universe? Because we need to know.
I don't want to sound. I don't want to say it, but she's not. She has some good work, but not a lot of great stuff. The great thing for me is her episode
She
of
played Cinderella's
Mirror.
mom in the Cinderella live action.
Kenneth Branagh, 6 Degrees of Dutch Angles.
Dude, half of her credits are just the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
Doesn't she do stage plays?
She's in Paddington and Peru. I didn't see that yet, but she's in
Oh,
that.
okay. I've been sitting on the Blu-ray.
I think she has a
I've
lot
been
of
waiting to watch it.
Wait, is she a voice in that movie or is she in the movie?
It says Grace. No, it says Madison. Sorry, no, this is Grace.
So she's in it. She's
I
probably
saw
got a
Paddington
small
in
role.
Peru. I remember seeing her.
Yeah, she's in I would say about 45% of her credits are part of the MCU.
That's crazy.
Which I mean, get your bag.
I did like her in whatever.
she's a good
I mean, I
Agent
like her
Carter,
in the
it's just-
movies. I didn't watch Agent Carter, but I liked her as
I mean, that character, she's good in
Doctor
she's good in that
Strange.
role. Oh yeah, wasn't she the
Captain America,
Yeah.
whatever, yeah, variant or whatever.
Damn, now I can't unsee all the Dutchies. I forgot
mean,
that they were
I mean, there's a ton of the movie.
that's not like
Literally, when he gets to the
derogatory return.
when they get to Rome and they're sitting there at the desk, talking to the corrupt politician or whatever cop, like there's Dutches there too.
Do you think if this movie looked as good as Fallout did, that this would be about the same level as Fallout for you? Or do you think it's a few more things than that?
My problem with this movie, we've already talked about it. Spoilers, is that they kill Rebecca Ferguson's character. They kill Ilsa Faust.
Mhm.
Besides that, I really enjoy this movie.
Right, but that's more of a writing decision. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
it's more of an enjoyment thing
It is for me.
Like, for you.
It got to a
you don't
point where
think
it
that
is an
does.
enjoyment thing for
I
me.
think I agree with you said earlier. I think this movie is a lot more, and I guess the new one, a lot more talking, as opposed to the last one, which did have talking, but that was just nonstop. We're moving the entire time. Like this
Yeah.
scene feels very like we're not really moving, even though we are. But I think
see,
the
I feel like
the
we're
pacing for this
moving-
movie isn't bad. Like pacing's fine. Like, but I remember watching this in theaters. Like, I didn't think it was like a 3-hour
Yo,
movie.
listen to this.
It feels
So
like it goes by very quick.
Palm was
Yeah.
in the movie more, and McHugh's explanation for cutting her out is essentially that she's in the scenes where you're kind of distracted by her because she has such an energy, like
She
such a
does. She
magnetism,
does.
that they
Mhm.
had to cut her out. And
Imagine
for
being
an actor to be that
and someone
great,
saying that they cut out your scenes because you were just too fucking.
You're commanding the screen too hard. Do you understand
Good
that
old
Tom
Tom
Cruise is in
Cruise.
this film?
Palm
It's-
Clementine.
He's paying for this shit. We can't have
Yeah.
this. Yeah, no. Final Reckoning. Palm is great. I've been saying it for years now. She is a fantastic actress. She is.
I've been a fan since Guardians 2. Like as soon as I saw her for the first time, she just has an energy.
Mm-hmm.
Props
Did
to
you see
James Gunn.
Tom-
James Gunn knows how to cast.
See, Tom
You
the
got
other
to
day
give the
said
man
he
his
saw,
credit there.
Ballerina. You see that?
Man,
You see-
Ballerina. She's in it.
He's no, I'm just saying in general.
Oh, he saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that he saw it. He's also dating Anadarma, so like, yeah, I
Really?
can see that. I think he is. I don't think they're like. They might.
I
Just
know
be
that-
having like a thing.
I know that she's moved.
He did also say that The
with him.
Flash was one of the best comic book movies ever made. So.
He did say that. One thing I
You know
would
this
say
man ain't
about
watching
Tom,
comic book movies.
He did say that about the Flash, and so did Stephen King, which is absurd.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the
Stephen
end of
King
the
only
day,
said
like,
that because the director was making his adapting his books into television shows.
Andy Muschietti.
Yeah, Stephen King has interesting taste. A great writer, but some of his takes, you're like, okay, interesting. The Flash is one of the greatest films ever made. Interesting.
I do think this scene is thrilling, but it's not visually thrilling. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
I think that's I think that's what I was trying to get at. It's like it's a step
Like the
down.
camera's moving
Yeah.
and it's making it compelling. The dialogue, like it's using everything
It's like
put together.
they're
but
shooting the close-ups like it's mission one. Like they're trying to go
yeah,
back to that look. And like you said, it's like they brought in somebody else. It's a different look and
but
feel.
is it mission one, or are they pretty much doing what the modern standard is now for filmmaking?
Yeah. But when you're
Don't I
coming
wouldn't say you're
post
giving him too much
Fallout,
credit.
yeah, and you're going post Fallout to this, it's definitely visually you're like, this doesn't look that good.
I think a lot of
I mean, it looks
the
good,
restrictions
but
in the way
it's
that things are shot is probably the big
and that's
reason
why they're probably shooting it close up because they couldn't get as many
There's less
extras
crew
as they
members,
possibly
couldn't get
could.
any
Yeah.
extras, stuff like this is really hard.
So they got to shoot it closer. Makes sense.
I think it also says something that McQuarrie always wants to look at location to write what he wants to do. But would y'all ever shoot in this airport?
I think I would shoot at any airport if I was given the opportunity.
I wouldn't.
I would just build one, like Nathan Fielder or
I just wouldn't. Right? Yeah, which is
or Spielberg for the terminal when he built an entire terminal.
It is insane, but
I don't think the airport's the problem. It's really the framing and the staging and the amount of like composition that the amount of composition that you have with every shot. They all look similar.
But my thing is that they're just glorified malls. Maybe it's just a personal taste. Maybe it's because I've spent a little bit of time recently in airports.
Right,
I mean, some of them look cool,
but like other airports, like they can look visually like distinctive. They can also just look different. It's just a matter of like you're saying like they're shooting in these like mall like areas that look like malls, and I get that, but they could have shot anywhere, and they chose to shoot in those little areas.
Shoot these,
Airports do have like mall kiosks, so.
And because I went to Singapore recently, and they have Changi Airport is like supposed to be one of these most beautiful airports in the world or something, and yeah, they have this water feature that's fantastic, but besides that, it's a glorified mall. And same thing in Turkey. Turkey has this crazy nice airport also, and it's just
they gotta get people with hair transplants.
Actually, there's at least like 20 of them, and one of them I was on my way back to Atlanta, and the dude next to me was he had one. So
is that where Travis Kelce went?
I mean, that's where me and Pat are going soon. I mean, it's gonna be me, Pat. Yeah, me, Pat, my dad, Pat's dad. We're just gonna make a boys trip out of it.
So, like, back to your point, Vakash, about an airport, Casino Royale, counter argument.
True, you're right. You're 100% right. Because that scene is
counter argument.
I'm here all day. What'd you say?
The terminal, the entire movie takes place at an airport.
Phil Melway, I don't know how to say his last name. The guy who shot Casino Royale did a fantastic job with that movie. That movie is
airport design. It looked like
that and Skyfall are the best shot Bond movies, even though, and I guess you have Lena Sandgren and Hoyte van Hoytema who've done some recent Bond movies. That's the one thing about Bond; they do get some good talent, which frustrates me here.
Brother.
Recently,
I think you can. This is gonna sound kind of cocky. It's gonna sound boastful, but it's like you can have new people at all sorts of different jobs, but it cannot be your DP. Your DP has to be someone good when it comes to one of these big movies, in my opinion. It's like it's rare. It's unless it's someone you've worked with, like Steve Yedlin and Rian Johnson have worked together forever, and that makes sense, right? But that wasn't the case here.
That relationship, Spielberg using Janisch for 35 years.
Yeah,
it's like I don't need to I trust him. I know
it's
what it's gonna look like. Yeah.
Jared Blanche and Robert Eggers, right? They've been working together 3 for 3 now, right? You see this Dutch angle. You see what I was talking about with the with this fake Ferrari looking dude.
Yeah,
he looks like
Ferrari looking dude is crazy.
Nope, he looks like he could be Adam Driver's older brother in Ferrari. See, they do compelling visual work. That's not what I'm saying. Like it's a great composition work with these passports, right? Like it works, but
Martin, that's the other one in my stack is Ferrari. Ferrari, Beau is afraid. And those are
I
other
understand.
my stuff. Kinds of
Ferrari.
kindness.
Here's the
And
thing.
kinds of kindness. They're still
I could see
sitting
maybe not
there.
watching like Kinds of Kindness or Beau, which funny enough, I actually rewatched Beau.
I
since we
surprised.
talked
I haven't
about
seen
that.
Ferrari's
Ferrari either.
makes sense because Michael Mann. I'm like, I don't fuck haven't watched this yet, and then I just put it right back down.
I'm gonna just rewatch Collateral or Thief.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I'll watch
Ferrari's
Collateral
solid, man.
for the
I don't think it's
150th time.
incredible, but Adam Driver's really good in it.
It
Michael
says
Mann
20,
released a
20 or
whole
late 2023, 2024 films that are just sitting there.
Michael Mann had like a
I
whole Bible created for like the making of Ferrari. And I'm like, this is such a compelling concept. I love the idea, but I'm like, why can't it be a different and better movie? And I haven't even seen Ferrari yet. So it's like, hypocritical of me.
I did rewatch Beau, funny enough, and I liked it a lot more on a rewatch.
It's awesome, right?
I saw you watching it again.
I watched it twice within like when I first watched it, whatever, I don't know, like a few months ago. I watched it twice within a week.
It's very all over the place, and I think it's one of those things where I think you're either gonna fuck with it the first time you watch it, or you're really not. But I really liked it the first time. It's definitely not gonna be for everybody. I know that.
I think it's such a manic energy that Ari brings to that movie where it's like you just need to invest within it. And it's
Yeah.
like he doesn't give you a reason not to. I think everything he does is compelling.
I think I mean no, I hear what you're saying. It's compelling, but it's like if there are some things in that movie I would say like you're either gonna rock with it from like the
Oh,
get go, or
yeah.
you're just really not.
You know,
That's what I was
sometimes I
saying-
sit in my
that's what I
tub.
was saying in our group
sometimes-
chat. I was like, I'd rather have a director do that than being like
That-
Oh, 1000%.
the most
I
basic.
think we all agree on that. Is that I
Yeah.
want you to
I-
swing for the fence.
Like Eddington,
want-
I've heard some people are like, it's fucking terrible. It's like, okay, well, I still want to see it because now I'm interested in this polarizing film.
That's what I think
Like-
about a lot of movies that are like super. I guess you could say ballsy, like Megalopolis.
Out
is kind of
there,
the one that
I
would
guess,
think- I would
yeah.
say
Yeah,
Southland
Megalopolis,
Tales.
like,
Beau is Afraid.
least they went for
Beau is Afraid
something.
is easily the best out of the three, but like Megalopolis and Southland Tales, they are inherently trying to say something that is so bold, and it's like sometimes incoherent, but at the same time, it's like I would take this every day over some crappy
Yeah,
like
over
or,
the
or
slide
even
of
like
books number.
over
than
the
that,
slop.
it's like
Just say it.
even
the
like-
slop.
I know
It is
the
slop.
slop.
like the Horizon
Pig.
films. Like I don't know if the second one will ever come out, but it's like at least he's like making an effort. It's like this is 4 movies. It's gonna be one thing that I'm making. I'd rather watch that than go watch
They did give us an update
this
today about
this
what's going on with
franchise
Horizon 2.
number 65. Like I don't whatever, man. Like I'd rather watch someone that's
Like, we
actually
were just
passionate about
ta-
what they're doing.
Like we mentioned Haley
they say?
Atwell and half of her. Oh, go ahead.
Well, part 2, what'd they say? They said this will never see the light of day. I hate you, Kevin Costner.
Distribution
I
issue.
can't remember what I read. It's a distribution issue. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
a
I think they're
licensing
filing a law. I think they're filing a lawsuit.
So this scene right here, y'all aren't gonna believe this, but they shot this scene like Haley's part and Tom's part separately over like a 6-month gap or something like that, months
I
apart.
believe it.
Probably COVID can be in this.
The craziest one I've ever heard is from Pirates of the Caribbean, where they were shooting scenes inside the ship on separate, like 3 months apart.
It happens.
A tribute to the editing.
But
If
like
you have good editing, you don't
a
notice it.
tribute. It's a tribute to like the production team. Like, how did y'all have to recreate everything and it feels seamless? And yeah, that is editing.
Well, you could probably
ultimately,
send them. You can send the edit, like the clips to like throw these together, see what they look like right now.
But
it
I'm
looks
talking about
awful,
like
right?
2005. You know, like is it Darius Swarovski that shot
I mean, that's
those?
different. I mean, that's
Yeah.
yeah. But I'm talking about like now. You can if they especially they shoot it digital. Like
I mean, now you can literally
together
sit
right
there with
away.
a MacBook and show,
yeah,
do it.
and just to put them together just to see what it looks like real quick.
I think Soderbergh is the one who like taught me those lessons where it's like you have no excuse.
just-
Now. Like you can literally
Yeah,
cut
he's
that
like-
thing together.
He's like, all right, guys, let's go home. And he's like in his car. He's like, hold on, let me edit this scene really quickly. I'm actually gonna put the whole movie together right now on my
He probably
phone.
could. He actually edited Black Bag like as soon as they finished shooting. He finished it
Yeah.
like, the same night.
So if you
He just
if y'all
sends it
ever-
off.
do y'all look at
That
his
looks good.
logs, his diaries for like when he watches movies and stuff?
Mm.
Of Soderbergh?
It's yeah. He'll
Actually,
have
the
like
Academy Museum,
he'll have a
um,
whole diary of like what he watched for the year.
Yeah.
So,
I think he puts it on
like-
his website. I think.
Yeah, so it's like Logan Lucky. I watched the cut of Logan Lucky. This, that, like whatever. Like he'll put everything on there, It's actually really cool.
At
I
the
think more
Academy
people
Museum,
should do that.
they have the
And
Bong Joon-ho exhibit, and they have his old like '90s journal where he would
Oh, the
what
Silence of the
movie he
Lambs thing.
watched, what movie he
His like
watched,
Silence
and
of the
then like
Lamb
his rating.
analyzation.
Yeah, it's like his rating, and he gave it like a 5, obviously 5 out of 5 or whatever. But yeah, you can see all the movies he watched in like the '90s. He had all his VHS tapes at the top. Silence of the Lambs was one of them that he like burned off of just a VCR. Like, like it's just like damn.
Did you guys
I used to do that though, writing
have you guys
in
seen
a
that
journal.
same.
That like Raiders of the Lost Ark cut that's in black and white with the Social Network score on it, the Soderbergh did.
That's Soderbergh,
Are
yeah.
you talking about for
It's
I watched
crazy.
clips of
are you
it.
talking
I
about
was just
Indiana
like, I don't know if I
Jones
would
or
sit for a
something
sec.
else?
Raiders,
it's
right? It's the
Soderbergh.
Raiders.
It's Raiders.
Yeah,
So get this,
I
Rakashi.
watched it.
It's all
It's
of
basically
Raiders,
him
but it's just
showing
the
that you
Social Network
can,
score.
yeah, you
I think I
can watch
watched it
this
on
movie,
Vimeo.
understand what's going on without any dialogue,
Yeah,
and
which you
that's a
can
tribute to a good
because
film.
the work that he does, especially in that opening, is just stunning work. And I mean, when has Spielberg not been the GOAT? You know.
Yeah, sometimes.
There's a lot of body doubles in this scene, or not a lot, but there's a body double in this scene. Apparently, there's a lot of body doubles in this movie just throughout. Either way,
The editing is a little wonky on his face too. Like when they cut back and forth, and they have a shot that's clearly from like 6 months prior or 6 weeks prior.
He just has a beard, and then it cuts back. He doesn't have a beard. Did people notice?
He has a hat. It gets bigger as the shot keeps cutting.
Can't get into the car. That's just a great gag.
you know what's funny? You know what the word for to bother is, like the verb for in Spanish to bother.
Molestar.
Oh my god. I'm so stupid. My
you
bad.
forget that I'm Mexican?
Yeah.
That I'm
bro.
Spanish?
My bad.
That's
But
funny.
like
That was
as a
kinda
middle
funny.
schooler to learning
That
the
was good,
word
that
is
was good.
molestar. It's like,
Hey man, I know
you're right. Like
Mexican,
we
but
used
hey,
to write
you know what it is?
skits, and we would write
be-
in
to
molestar.
be
What is it in
fair,
Gaelic?
like,
Let's do it on
everything.
mine.
That
do it
word
in
in
Gaelic.
general is like you can use it in different contexts. So like if someone's saying like don't bother him, they'd say like no le molestes, like don't bother him. No molestes means like don't bother, but it can also be used in the sense of like, oh, don't bother him. You're bothering me.
In Gaelic, it is bodar. That's the language of my
I
people.
couldn't figure out the word today for early or late in Spanish. I felt so stupid because I was talking to somebody. I could not figure it out in my head. I was like, I gotta go to Google Translate.
I feel like this movie also takes a step back in the sense that like he's riding that motorcycle and it's got that like it just looks really goofy.
Oh, the thing on the back.
The whole thing looks just goofy. The little like thing on
My
the sides.
problem is that if you compare it to Fallout,
I feel like it's
when
like
it-
this. Yeah, you're trying to do the same exact scene you just did.
No,
in
no, no.
Fallout. It's the same like
They-
location. Looking,
That's not my
obviously
problem.
the same one, but
that's not my problem. My problem is
Looks
just
identical.
visually, it
Yeah.
doesn't feel right.
yo, give me a. Oh damn, give me a
So
motorcycle chase.
can
in,
y'all
like,
tell that this is CG?
French Alps?
What CG
like-
exactly?
Like outside, the
Oh, yeah.
environment is CG.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell in this shot, but when they get out of the car, I mean, on rewatch you can tell. Which I mean, they do a great job. Like ILM did a great job, but still,
Mm-hmm. But again, it's
Like,
we have
you
to
can
think
tell
it's
this
for
class is
COVID
CG, but they did a
restrictions.
good
It's
job.
like for COVID
It's
restrictions. There's
hell.
like, it's a lot.
and plus it's timing because of where they're shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a cut
And
there?
I don't think you could. Yeah, they
There was.
cut out
What
some
did it
frames.
say?
Yeah,
Dude, he just fucking killed 2 people with a motorcycle. Just fucking launched it.
all of this works. Like the visuals do work. It's just it feels a step down from the last one. That's all.
It's the editing, man. The editing and the visual style just looks different.
Because you know what the problem is also that when you shoot digital compared to film, it feels like the lenses just look different to me. That you're like when he was on the
Let's see what
bike,
they
they're
did.
shooting a really wide lens, and I don't know. I wouldn't put a wide lens there in that sense. It just felt like kind of what they did on Top Gun Maverick, except they actually had like 4 or 5 cameras put together.
Got Arri Alexa. Panavision CDE and H series lenses. Some scenes. Sony Cinealta Venice Rialto. Panavision.
That Sony
Yeah.
camera be getting work from like
Yeah.
Claudio Miranda. He's been a big fan of that camera for a long time. The Sony systems. I think he's been using Sony systems since like, Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Benjamin. Then you have the case for Fincher though. He shoots digital and it looks fucking good. So
Yeah, he
There's
makes
a
it
case
work.
for a
I don't
lot of
ever want to
people.
hear anybody complaining about digital.
yeah,
No, I'm
Michael
not
Mann.
I'm
Michael
saying
Mann,
for
it's
this
it's his
case.
style.
Because no, but the thing is, like, there's so many people who've done digital, and there's no difference between the two tools now. It's just like, in terms of like, this is the same director. It's just you see there's something different going on.
I think the big thing with these movies that makes the digital feel different is that for up to a certain point, a lot of them are just not digital, and then all of a sudden this one is, and it just
It's
looks
digital.
significantly different
Yeah.
because of it. But also, like we said, it's shot in a different style as well.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they went 6 movies, right? They went 20 years, or almost, or what? They went 22 years without shooting digital. And I know I assume that they went to digital because just feasibility with what they're pulling off, that digital is just going to be faster to work with, faster and
Especially
easier.
for faster and for again, COVID restrictions. It's just
Yeah.
we can get it done faster.
Actually, I brought up Martin, have you watched Steve Yedlin's like camera test stuff like on his website?
I'm not sure. I'll be honest with you. I feel like I know what you're talking about.
Like, so Steve Yedlin, who is Ryan Johnson's DP, he essentially went through and did an insane amount of science work and color theory work and just everything possible to go into the research of, film versus digital. And he's gotten it down to a point where it's like you have no excuse if you're shooting digital. Like, both they can look the same now.
Mm-hmm.
And his work shows it. Watch Knives Out, and I couldn't tell for a hot minute.
Knives Out looked
till
fucking
like
good. No. Knives Out 2, I don't know, but Knives Out did look fucking great. Like I felt when I was watching Knives Out, I felt cold. I felt like it was fall.
But that's the best movies, aren't they? It's like Prisoners reminds me of like a cold, rainy night.
Well, that's also Deakins.
Whereas like,
but
yeah,
Deakins is like,
the wind's
good.
blowing.
Give me 15 seconds. We're good to go. He said, "Do you know who the fuck I am?"
What do y'all think? This scene versus the chase inspector with Hinks and Bond.
This reminds me of the chase in No Time to Die.
I really like No Time to Die, but
wait,
I'm also
you're talking about the chase in the beginning in Matera?
Yeah, I think
that's better shot, obviously, because of Lena Sandgren.
No, I'm just saying this. This scene reminds me of that. That's what I feel like. This, like rewatching this, it seemed like it's going again. I watched Fallout 3 days ago, but like, it just seems like it's just again.
The Fiat portion is funny.
You're trying to do the
same. Like this.
Yeah, you're trying to do like the same thing. And it doesn't really, because you have Sean Harris in that scene in Fallout.
Yeah, there's a tension there.
Yeah. This is funny though. Here's your comedic relief.
McQuarrie said he's been waiting to do this since like 2017. he's like Ethan, Fiat 500, like make this happen.
Yeah, I remember this getting,
which is funny. It is
him looking at the windshield wipers got a big laugh, and that could be improv by Tom. He's so smart with everything else. He doesn't know how to drive a Fiat.
It sounds like they just put like some sort of like, it sounds like an electric engine or something for the sound effect. This is like a low key like ED joke right here.
Yeah.
It's okay. Performance anxiety.
Yeah, I swear I'm good at this. And her hands like over him, like
the machine. I mean, the entity.
What's Palmman?
Martin's right. It is the editing also. That there's a lot more longer shots in in Fallout when it comes to the action.
This one
And
feels
this
like they're
one-
cutting around the action to like get rid of any mistakes to create energy. In Fallout, it's like the energy is there regardless of the cuts.
Exactly.
Mhm. Damn, we're gonna fucking break that Fiat. Thing would have exploded. All those
You know
people
what's
with
funny?
CGI.
Fast X came out the same year.
Were all those people
And-
CGI there?
Yeah.
That wide? It looked like they were all CGI.
Did you
They
see
are.
that picture I posted on Twitter of the shots of them in front of the Coliseum, both of them?
No, I
Mm.
kind of been
It's like
off of them.
identical shots. It's so funny.
So they use the same stairs in both movies,
They did,
and
yeah, the bomb.
I
Yeah.
think they didn't. I think
This is the
McQuarrie
Roman
said
Holiday
that they
stairs.
don't. They didn't even shoot on the stairs. They just recreated the stairs, and then there's some CG in there.
The Roman Holiday stairs.
Yep.
There's a shot or there's a line in Fast X that's so funny where Helen Mirren's character mentions Roman Holiday. Or I think it's Vin Diesel that mentions Roman Holiday, and someone says something about
There's
Gregory
no way
Peck,
fucking
and I was
Vin
thinking to myself
Diesel's
like,
watching
Vin Diesel, there's
Roman
no way he's watching that.
There's no way he's watching
I'm
Roman
not-
It is
Holiday.
the funniest line in the world. It's so funny.
I haven't. What do you call it? I haven't seen Fast X since the theater. I have zero temptation. Actually, no. I
It's
watched it
exhausting.
one
Don't watch
time
it. Don't
afterwards.
watch it. It is exhausting.
I watched it with my
Yeah.
dad.
The
But
more I think about Fast and Furious, the more I just do a deep sigh.
I mean,
we should do Fast.
I don't know, man.
three,
We'll
4,
do it.
5.
We will do
Or
it. No, we will
3 to
do
7.
all of them once Fast X Part 2 releases.
I mean,
and
I've
goes
got
to
love
theaters
for
then.
them. It's just
I do
you
too.
know,
I do too.
8, 9, 10.
I will say about Fast
not
10,
been my
it looked
sauce,
like
that's all.
Fast 10. It looked like what's his face was having a fucking great ass time now, and I'll give them
Oh,
that.
Jason Momoa. He's the only
Jason Momoa
person
looked like
that-
he was having a ball.
Jason's
He's
Like,
the only
fantastic.
person in that movie that knows what is going on.
I was like watching it, and I was like, he's so over the top, and it looks like he's just having a fucking great time. Good for him.
But he's great in it. That's the thing. He
Yeah.
understands the role and he plays it well,
Yeah.
and he saves the movie a bit. And then the rest of it is
I
a
was-
bunch of like
I was cracking up at the end of that movie.
no. But the problem is that they went Avengers with they went to like 4 or 5 plot
Yeah.
lines within Fast X, and it's just like A plot, B plot, C plot, D plot, A plot. See, it's just exhausting.
There's too much
Mhm.
going
And
on. They
they're-
MCU'd the Fast and Furious movies.
I think
And
even
they
with this scene
they
here,
think that we
this
care.
is-
No offense.
this is
but
running
we
a
don't
little long.
care.
this chase
this
scene's
scene-
run out a little long.
The problem is it's because we're talking and we're not invested within it.
I'm
But
locked.
I mean,
in.
it's
I'm
been
locked in.
it's
I
been
see
like
Palm Clemente doing her little thing where
10.
she shakes on camera.
I know. I was
and it's
looking at
doing it
she's
for
so
me.
good.
what she's got coming out, and she was in a movie called Killer's Kiss or something with
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Did you
Dave?
guys know that Palm Clemente is in Uncut Gems?
Yeah,
Like the opening scene.
yeah.
I did not know
She's
that.
not in it very long. I think she was supposed to be in it longer.
She wasn't
but,
in the
No, I clocked her right away.
She's supposed to be in it a lot longer. Apparently, they had to cut it though.
They cut her out. Yet again, too much
She's in
sauce.
The opening scene. That's it, really.
too much sauce.
Well, I mean, one thing I
Julia
read about
Fox was new for me at that point. That's about it.
the one thing I read about Uncut
Yeah.
Gems as well, though, is that
Uncut Jazz.
Good Time and Uncut Gems were actually supposed to be like one movie, and then they separated them, like they split them.
That makes sense.
I could see
though.
them taking place in the same time
because they're both
Universe,
kind of
quote,
they're
unquote.
both Ronald Knight stories,
yeah.
Yeah,
but they both work. That's the thing, though, right? They're both really, really
they're
good
both
movies.
fantastic movies. I like Good Time a little bit more than Uncut.
think I
Gems,
like Good
but
Time
Uncut
more,
Gems is an
too.
I think I'm the
easier,
other way.
Uncut Gems
I
is
like-
an easier watch. I think
I
Good
gotta
Time's a better
rewatch them
movie,
both.
but Uncut's a better watch, is what it is.
That's probably you know me.
Mm.
You know me. You could tell. Uncut's gonna be my bag.
Damn nice.
Dan Lopatin, the score on those, fire.
I will say. Never mind. I thought I was.
Didn't Darius?
I was about to
didn't
say
Darius
like,
Kanji
the
shoot
score's
Uncut
not
Gems?
bad, but it is Lauren. I kept thinking we were watching the
Run
next
that back.
one.
Martin.
Darius Kanji shot Uncut Gems, didn't he?
I'm not sure. I know Kanji. Did Kanji
see.
just shoot Eddington?
Did he? Hold on.
Kanji.
Yes, Kanji did shoot Uncut Gems.
Stand by. Stand by.
Did he just shoot no, you said Chivo shot Kanji shot
He shot
whatever.
Eddington. Mickey
He
17,
shot
yeah.
Alejandro's
shoot
movie, the
Eddington.
Mexican one.
Bardo.
And Marty
Bardo, yeah.
Supreme.
I haven't seen Bardo. I've seen 30 minutes of Bardo like 5 times. I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Lubezki? Lubezki's doing Inaritu. Like you already did it.
Yeah.
The new one with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
But Kanji shot
Is that coming out
he
this
shot
year?
Eddington, right?
Yeah, there's the shot.
Oh, okay.
The Coliseum shot.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I know exactly what you mean now. I thought you were talking about like outside of the movie, but it just clicked in my head. I know
it's in
exactly
the
what
Is
you're
that
shot.
coming?
There's-
Is the?
I know-
Did we talk about?
you know why? Because I remember seeing it in the theater and it clicking in the theater.
Is the Inaritu coming out this year? Did we already talk about this? Or
Next year, 2026 October, if I remember correctly.
Dude, next year is gonna fucking cook with some of these fucking movies coming, man.
Look at
Oh shit. She's
look
back.
at Ilsa. I'm just like,
See, that's good there.
I
for the-
swear to
you-
God.
you don't need no dialogue, just shoulder shrug. Like
I
I'm
just
back,
want to
and
make.
he's just
I
like,
want to
fuck
make
yeah.
one movie
Team's
in
back.
Venice.
Let's go.
I want to make one movie in Venice. That's it. And when I go to Venice, I want to kill a character and just have it be the most devastating thing possible. Because Dead Reckoning does it. Casino Royale does it better. And I'm just like, let me put one in the category because I just love it because it's heartbreaking to see it happen here. It's just
In
like
such a
cinema, like
beautiful
heartbreak.
place.
Heartbreak feels good here, right?
Yeah.
Even though I've never been in an AMC and
Heartbreak,
seen that
yeah.
ad.
Heartbreak feels good in a place like this. Waiting for them to change the movie she's watching though. They keep showing like Jurassic World.
Did y'all see the
Okay.
thing today? Nicole Kidman has worked with 27 female directors in the last 8 years.
Damn.
She
Good
said
for her.
something about it like a few, like even before she started doing it, she said that she wanted to work with more female directors, and she kept her word.
I think a lot of the TV she does is all like female director. too.
Female, yeah.
She's done a lot. She's done a lot of shit. Every time
Yeah.
like, next month is a new Nicole Kidman project.
Perfect
I mean, she's in
Strangers
that
2.
Perfect Strangers coming out.
She has that
yeah.
show on Netflix. My dad was just showing me. He was scrolling through Netflix. He's like, "Oh yeah, like look, it's Michael Beach in the show." I'm like, "Yeah, I love him." Michael Beach is he plays a cop in that whatever the show with her and Liam Shriver. And I'm just like, this
Oh,
man is so much
yeah.
better. He's such a great actor. Like he gets relegated to like these supporting roles because, people don't give him a market value essentially as an actor.
This is kind of like the White Christmas Black Mirror episode. Where you can't see them.
So this is Tom Cruise's second AI movie, Loki.
Minority
Loki.
Report.
Yeah.
What's the first one?
As soon as I see him
Minority
reviewing the footage, I'm like, Minority Report.
Yeah.
Minority Report.
Why is the door
is-
open? The door is not open. He takes the helmet off its friend.
Is still one of my favorite movies of all time. Just truly.
Yeah.
Does Minority Report have a
Spielberg,
4K?
man. Does not.
No.
I was gonna say I was thinking about buying the Blu-ray, man, but I feel like every time
There's
I think
actually
about that, I'm like,
There's
it's
a
gonna
good amount of
mess up
Spielberg
the
that isn't
yeah.
on 4K.
But I think it looks fantastic.
Especially in the 2000s.
I'll tell you about it afterwards. Put it that way.
Because Catch If You Can has no 4K. Terminal's no
Yeah.
4K. Minority Report.
I was feeling it
War
on
of the
that
Worlds
rewatch. I
does.
was like,
War of the Worlds
I
one
was
looks
like-
good.
they need one for Catch Me If You Can.
I feel like a lot of the 4Ks that we're talking about that should get in 4Ks are probably they're waiting like an anniversary or something.
That's what I'm saying. Crimson Tide's 30 years, man. What's going on?
What'd y'all think about Gabriel?
It is still only like May. It could come out in October. for all
I
fucking know.
think he is a step down in villain.
Because you know that Nicholas Holt was supposed to be in that role of villain. He's not the same villain, but he was supposed to be a villain in this movie. And it just makes me think, I'm like, Nick would have been fantastic. I love
Yeah.
Asai Morales.
Go like
One,
a younger villain. I feel like that's what could have really worked here. Actually, I feel like they've always had like older.
whenever
Villains, quote,
McQuarrie and
unquote.
Tom work with Nicholas Holt, finally, it's gonna be fire. Because Nick is never not delivering. He's always delivering. We haven't talked about it yet. I think this is Cruz's worst hair. Ethan's worst hair.
Yeah,
Martin,
I think it is too.
I
He's gonna say dead
Final Reckoning, I think, is
or
his
final.
worst
Sorry.
hair.
Really?
I mean, I think they're kind of like the same.
That's what I mean is that like there's one shot in Final Reckoning where you could see his hair thinning, and I'm like, oh, he looks so
Yeah.
old.
I'm
I
not
hate
talking
it.
about hair
It
thinning. I'm
hurts.
talking about like the style of the hair.
And I still think it's Final Reckoning. When you watch it, you'll see why. It's
Okay.
just kind of, it just doesn't really look styled.
Okay, understood. This feels like Lego piece hair.
It does. It does. We need Last Samurai hair to pop up.
Last Samurai hair is fantastic. I was just talking about or I was rewatching Jack Reacher as I do with my dad, and I was talking about, or he was talking about the second movie, and I was like, "Yo, I'm like Edgewick. I'm like, that's the guy who made Last Samurai."
Yeah, he had Glory. He was cooking sometimes. He wrote a book that
Yeah,
about, I haven't read it yet, but I always pick it up at Barnes and Noble. I want to read it. Basically about how he basically
he's a cool
got
dude.
around Hollywood, and it's like, this is how you would do it. And then back in my day, and he basically is like, I made some cool shit. Also made some stinkers, but I made some cool shit.
Did you watch Pawn Sacrifice?
I actually like that movie.
It was good.
Completely forget it exists, and I own it, but then I see it, I'm like, oh yeah.
McGuire.
Yeah, where they play chess.
I saw it.
And
It
then-
came out right when I got into college, and I was like, "Wait, this is
And
Edgewick."
then,
I was like,
you
"I gotta
and then
see
Queen's
this."
Gambit was being pitched around, and I was like, oh, that's probably like this. There's someone probably pitching Queen's Gambit around and shit. And they're like, what about this one?
And then Queen's Gambit went crazy. I mean,
Good fucking
Scott
show.
Frank, I love him. But
Kinda
the
put
crazy
Anya
thing is that
Moore
he
on the
made
map with
Godless.
Queen's Gambit.
He made Godless, but that didn't come. That didn't
Godless
get the
was
hype.
great.
It is.
My
He
man
made-
Scoot McNairy.
He made a Monchois Spade for AMC with our man Clive Owen. I still need to watch it. I think it's like 6 episodes. Right now, I'm in a real middle space of like I want to watch movies, but then if I am relegating myself into 40, 50-minute increments, then I'll just watch a show.
You see, I'm the other way around, Vikash. I choose movies that I actively know I love and movies that I've seen multiple times, because if I can only watch 50 minutes of it, I'm like, no big deal. I can.
Yeah,
connect
you
to
can
tomorrow
just
and
cut them
finish
off.
it.
Yeah.
I will never
Fair
start
enough.
a movie for the first time knowing that I won't finish it. That's one big rule I have
So,
for myself.
real quick, this balcony that Tom and Rebecca's characters, Ethan and Alyssa, are on is actually fake. So if anybody ever
Oh,
wants to
very
go,
sweet.
I want to go recreate this beautiful moment between these two. You can't. This is production design
What?
right here.
Dude, I was flying there tomorrow. What the fuck?
He's gonna be pissed when he gets there.
Yeah,
I
you
would
know
be
this is
pissed. I would probably just go there. My problem is that whenever I see the world through movies, so anytime I go anywhere, I'm like, oh yeah, this is Westworld. Oh, this is that. This is like, oh, this is Captain America 2 right here, right? This, in this DC thing. Oh, this is National Treasure. It's just a lens for me to see the world, and I'm like, oh, I gotta go to these places.
Last time this was
You know
here.
what I
It's
think
being
is really
said.
interesting about this thing with Elsa and Ethan is that for the last 2 movies he's been trying to kill him to some capacity. And
Yeah.
this is the only scene in the movie where like you see them being affectionate in any way, really. And it's enough to where you're
Physically
able to be like,
affectionate.
yeah,
They're
physically
gonna. She's
affectionate.
gonna die.
And it's enough to where you're able to be like, oh, like they love each other, even without any words being spoken. Like there's not a single piece of dialogue between them where they mention anything. And yet when she dies, I fucking lost it.
It still irks me. It just does not stop irking me that she's dead. So, and it's just I don't know till Thursday. I don't know, and then I
Till
assume
Thursday, yeah,
Thursday I'm
that's
gonna
so
be like,
funny.
oh yeah, they didn't
Tom
resolve this, so I'm
Clemente
just gonna be
looks incredible
pissed.
in this outfit.
See, this is her design of makeup.
I do remember reading that.
I can't wait. Palm's gonna have a
I'm
fantastic
gonna
career.
have to
and
wait.
I don't think Palm's gonna get an Oscar, but she's actually. If I had to make a spy movie a la James Bond,
She should have been the one that's in Ballerina. I
give
said
me
it.
Palm.
Yeah.
Give
You're
me
right.
her instead of
No.
Ana
You're
de
right. You're
Armas.
100% right. You're
Yeah.
150% right. But then again, Donnie Yen has a movie coming, and Donnie Yen plus Palm is much better than Len Wiseman plus, Ana de Armas. So I'm just saying.
Yeah. What does Valorant, does that come out like a week, or it comes out the week after this, after Mission, right?
June 6th, something like that.
June 6th, 2 weeks later.
Yeah, which I mean, you know me.
It'll
It's John
make
Wick.
its money. It's not gonna make a lot of money, but it'll make its money.
Yeah, because it was supposed to come out the same time last year, and I was like, I got a whole thing planned. We're gonna do this, and then they pushed it a year. I'm like, I don't know why they pushed it. They're not gonna make any more money than they were already going to.
Reshoots and editing. Heard their test
Yeah,
screenings were not great.
I heard. Oh my gosh! Guess what the runtime is?
You know,
You see me in despair. What do you think the runtime is? You know what it is. Just say it.
oh,
You know
no.
when it's a
90
bad
minutes.
movie. It's 90 minutes. It's an hour and 29.
90-minute action film. Oh,
It's not a bad thing. My thing when it comes to an action movie, my favorite timing for an action movie with credits is like 2 hour 13 minutes.
Damn,
It's a little long, but it's not too long. Like a solid 2 hour action movie is fantastic.
On Wikipedia, it is 125 minutes.
I'm talking. Or wait, hold on. Let me go to IMDb. Or actually, let me just go to my theater website because the movie is about to come out and you can buy tickets.
On IMDb, 2 hours 5 minutes. Okay.
Is it possible we have another case of Final Reckoning?
Vanessa Kirby alert.
We gotta bet on this one again.
Vanessa Kirby alert.
It's actually 85 minutes.
Vanessa Kirby alert.
Whoa,
she has a magnetic presence too.
Yo, is she in Fantastic Four?
Ain't nobody worried about that. I'm worried about this. Hour 20. Okay, 125 minutes. I got so scared, man. I know it's not gonna be good, but still. And actually, funny enough, what did I just say? 2 hours and 10 minutes. This is 2 hours and 5 minutes. It's a 2 hour movie. Okay. I'm not expecting a lot of greatness from Ballerina, but I am expecting it to be a good enough time in the theater.
I think one thing that just kind of rubs me the wrong way about Ballerina, and it's not really anything to do with the actual film, it's just the idea that like we have this new story that they're giving us with Ana de Armas in the world of John Wick, and it's kind of like you mentioned on your own podcast, Vikas, with us getting John Wick Chapter 5 possibly, and the Continental happening, is that like they want us to care so badly about a new character, and they can't even do it without bringing up a character that we saw die on screen. It's like just every single chance they get.
I mean,
gonna go
I understand from the perspective of like the studio and marketing that you want to have John Wick in there, and you should market him to bring people in.
He's in there for maybe. We haven't seen it yet, so I'm gonna speculate.
Oh, he's in it for one scene. He's in there for one scene, 15 minutes max. But it's like I'm going there for Ana, so it's like I don't know.
We support movies, no matter what.
I would hope that they just gave her the same treatment we get in John Wick 1, but I don't think they will.
Little tiny nitpick about this movie that also pisses me off. I don't like the way that the movie like has the subtitles where they translate, and there's like, because you can automatically put the subtitles on, but like where they talk and it's right next to their face, like the translation. It's the same shit that we were talking about with like the John Wick ones.
Yeah.
It's like just build it into the movie.
Oof.
So every time I see Palm, I just imagine a different world with her character. Yeah. And I'm like, there's like a Parisian action movie, spy thriller, like
from the world of Mission Impossible.
Like give me like a Les Samurai plus a Un Profeti, like just throw me in to like a Bourne-ish kind of like slow spy thriller kind of vibe. I'm like, I'm here for it. I think this is a chewy movie compared to Fallout.
What do you mean by chewy? Like there's more to chew on?
There's more to chew on in the sense there's too much going on. There's so many characters at stake in the same room, right? You have 4 main characters or five characters of interest here.
And they all have different
different
outcomes of
5 different 5 different agendas. Yeah. It's not bad. But I just can't do it.
It's not great, Bob.
I'm not this strong.
Yeah, you're right though. This is a very Dutch heavy film.
It's a duchy.
The Dutchy. Palm looks damn good though. She stands
I
out
do
in the
love the
scene.
sound
So
for
your eye goes to
Emily
her.
Palm.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that she it reminds me of I forgot his real name. Jason. Have y'all seen The Good Place?
Hmm.
You know Bortles, the Asian dude?
Yeah. Mhm. He's so
He's
the New York
in
Jets.
yeah,
No,
he's
the
in
Jacksonville Jaguars. That's the
Jaguar, yeah.
Jacksonville Jaguars. Blake
Bortles.
Bortles.
But
Those are
he's in
great team to
Top
be
Gun
You guys
Maverick.
obsessed
noticed
with.
there's not really any wide shots in this movie at
Oh, I
all.
know. I
Mhm.
know.
That's again,
And you
that's
know
That's
one of the
what
me.
things I
I'm
would say.
wondering if
You
Like,
it's
know
because of
me.
the COVID
We talked
restriction and
about
they just
this.
can't have
no,
We
many
we were
talked
people.
about
talking
this
about it,
last time,
and
right?
it's we're like really peeling back the layers on this one. And it really is one of those things where like it's not
The
like
more you watch
terribly
it, the more
made.
you
Is the more you
notice.
watch it, the more you notice it's just like COVID restrictions. And
Yeah.
I think it's one of those
But
things where like whenever you're like a really big fan of something, or like all the lore behind like why this scene looks the way it does, or like why this scene doesn't have the
Hmm.
same person like ever facing the same camera. It's like that, but with the context of like a global major pandemic. So like they're doing as
Yeah.
good as they can, but there's so much cutting. There's not a single shot where they're all in the same frame. It's actually insane.
Hmm. Yeah. Like we don't have one wide of them just standing there.
and y'all know me. I talked about it where it's like I need to feel myself, in a scene. I
Because if
need
you
to
just had
feel.
one wide that cuts to them all sitting there, you're like, okay. And then I get to feel like, okay, I can feel like they're in
And
the same
you know
camera.
what I would have done if I was him? I would have literally done body scans, or like I would have figured it out. I would have locked off a camera somewhere and just CG placed everybody into the same shot
One
together.
thing that like I do kind of give it credit for is that it has to get kind of creative with the way that the people are in the shots, like in the back, kind of like back to your point, Vikash, with the Dutch angles being added as like
Dynamic
we're gonna have
framing.
Hmm.
so for example, this shot with Palm and the three guys in the back, this shot with the three guys, and then you have the shot with Tom and the three guys.
Yeah.
Who knows how far those guys are? It could just be a camera trick with the lens where they're able
Hmm.
to make it look they're much closer than they actually are.
Actually, you can. I mean, you're right because
There's a lot of camera
that this
tricks
shot
there.
right here of Haley, Tom, and the guy in the back, they're definitely farther than they actually look.
That's what I mean. You can feel it. And at the end of the day, like I think it does work in its favor for shots like this, but it's like the fact that Fallout is shot the way it is, and this one is shot the way it is. It doesn't look bad, but comparing it to Fallout and knowing what we do know about it, the energy is just very different.
Yeah.
It feels like it should be more claustrophobic than it actually is, but because of the way that it's shot, it feels like it's just limiting itself.
Hmm.
You hit the nail on the hammer on the nail.
Listen, man, I know that I can get very analytical when I need to, and that's I think one of those things where like if I watch a movie enough, I definitely pick it up. But also,
And
just
that's what
like
I was telling you.
visually
It's
understanding it.
like this movie. It's not bad, but it's frustrating because
It's
it
a
feels like
frustrating film.
you
Yeah.
opened Pandora's box and then you kind of closed it.
That's a hard
Martin,
ass line. That's a hard ass.
Martin,
That's the
if you
line
make
that
a
we see in
movie,
like the
Should
other
write
movies.
yours too.
Because of
Martin,
it,
if
'cause-
you had to shoot a movie, carte blanche, what are you shooting on?
I mean anything.
Like camera system, what are you shooting on?
I mean, I've been wanting to work with a Sony camera for a while, but ideally, I think I said it before. Ultimate goal is to work with like an IMAX camera, but obviously that might not be realistic.
Nah, I don't want to hear that nonsense. It is
I mean,
possible.
it's definitely becoming more like
We all go work with
the
IMAX. I'm
Odyssey.
telling
The
you.
Odyssey, fucking doing full
Martin, we're
movie
gonna
with
look
it.
back
Like,
at this and be like, "Yo, we were having some crazy conversation. We were doing some research back then. Like, we put in the work, and it's reflective of the time we
I
have
don't know.
now.
Like, I think about it, and it's also one of those things where it's like, I definitely think there's a time and place for IMAX photography, and I think there's a time and place for a specific type of photography. Like, I was talking to a friend over the last year who was working on a film that he was doing, and he was telling me that he wanted to shoot it all with anamorphic lenses, and I asked him like, what kind of movie is it? What kind of movie are we
Mhm.
doing? Like, what
Just like
kind of
why?
scenery is it?
Yeah.
And he was telling me that it all takes place in an apartment, and I was like, why would you want to do
Why
like
would you
wide
shoot-
lenses? Like, why would you want to do anamorphic lenses at all? Do like a
Mhm.
4:3 ratio, or even do lenses that are a little bit more
Yeah.
on like the claustrophobic side of things. That's
Like that's
kind of
the
what
thing
you
is
want. Like,
people
My
are going
argument
for
for 4:3
style over substance as to like why are you shooting like you said, why you need anamorphics if it takes place in a fucking apartment?
okay,
don't
so
think
here's the
we've
thing with
talked about
the
this.
ratio is I don't care if the ratio is actually in a widescreen ratio that he's doing it.
Oh, I
It's
don't
just
care
like
either.
the lenses that you're using really do matter when you're shooting in an
Yeah.
enclosed space like that. It doesn't make sense. It's going to warp the image to an extent
Yeah.
that you're not going to be able to work with.
Mhm.
I think that if you really have to work in a low budget and you're trying to make, I think anything in general, I think the 4:3 is one of the greatest framing skills you can have for an epic standard.
It is, but also like
You know where I
I
learned
think
that?
the big thing that a lot of people think about 4:3 is IMAX now, but in reality, like if you go back and watch a lot of movies that are in 4:3,
Bro,
it's just
I'm
because they were
talking
working
about
with
Dragon Ball
limitations.
Z. In Dragon Ball Z, I was rewatching Dragon Ball Z in 2020, and I'm
Never
sitting there,
seen
I'd
an episode of
pause,
Dragon Ball Z.
and I'm telling you, I'm like, I'm looking at the framing, I'm like, what are these Japanese men doing? I'm like, this is
Bro, I used to get up.
fantastic
I used to get up at
framing.
like 5 in the morning when I was in like 5th grade to watch Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z.
Yo, Toonami, brother. Toonami.
I become a lot
But
more
for me,
inclined
it's like people that are like starting out making shorts. It's like I think they're trying to be like, oh, I'm gonna make it look like this. It's like you don't do.
No,
they
I hate
those
You
that.
don't
so
need to make
desperately
it look
want
like
to
that.
make the
Yeah,
movie look like it's
gonna
like
be
it's just
in a theater tomorrow, and it's like, bro, you need to worry about your story over what you're
I talked to
fucking
someone
making
one
right
time
now.
who was in it. It was the same person actually, funny enough, but he was saying that he wanted to make it look cinematic, and I was like, "There's nothing cinematic about it just being widescreen just for the
It can
sake
be
of it."
cinematic if you know what you're doing, and like it doesn't matter if your limitations are limited. Then if you have an apartment, like okay, man, I made him short in a night. It's not very good. It made sense,
Last
and I
last
used the
couple
camera that I
years,
had, a Canon XL2.
couple years, I've been
The little
throwing away.
digitape.
I've been throwing away all the technical stuff. It's like I listen to a lot of stuff about different people and how they work, and
But
I
again,
take
they're
the
telling you a reason
experiences
why they're
now.
doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like for me, it's like all the technical stuff I have like acquired. I'm like, okay, I leave that to the side now. Now, like the fundamental is always going to be story. Now that's we're coming from an
Yeah.
emotional point of view, and we're going to use all the tools
Yeah.
to do
To me,
that.
when
We're not
when
worried
you're
about the tools anymore.
yeah,
We'll figure out the tools. It's just we have to know how to be effective with those when it comes to that point. It's
like when you're
but
starting out, we're more about your story
yeah,
than what it's gonna look like.
I feel like it's been a minute since we saw Benji, to be honest.
Yeah, he's kind of is silent. They're both kind of silent in this.
So I think the big thing with this movie too is as well as that Benji and Luther are here technically, but again, because of COVID restrictions,
They
it
feel
feels
so
like
far away.
They feel so far away,
Yeah,
and they never shoot
but
them
that's
together.
the thing though.
this is
What's
good
the
production
problem,
this
right?
year. All these candles just fucking great.
Well, what's the problem?
I did
That
like
if you
this.
Someone
put
had to
them in a
go and
scene where
light
you have
those.
5 agendas, right?
I know.
They don't need to be there.
Shout
Dude, I
out to
always
the
think
poor
about
PA that had to
when
light
you're
all of
watching like
this.
when you're watching movies that take place like a period piece, and it's like they have so many candles. It's like, damn, imagine being the guy like or like back in the
Oh,
day
you
that had to go around and just
don't
light
don't say
candles.
don't say period pieces. Say Barry Lyndon.
No, I'm saying in
Oh,
general, like
I forget
people in
Picasso made
the
period
people
pieces.
in 1700s that like they had to
But
keep walking around the hotel lighting the
yeah,
candles.
but my thing is when I saw Barry Lyndon in high school, like it blew my mind, and I was like,
The
oh,
4K coming.
I'm like, no, because I
I
was
just
learning
bought the
about
fucking
like
Blu-ray too. Fuck me, dude.
because it's just like
The universe hates me, man.
it's
I
a
swear.
lesson. Like Kubrick was a great director, not because he had a shtick, because he every time he did something, he conquered it and then he moved on, and he was always conquering genres.
You know that
Like
that
you
scene
talked
in The
about
Disaster Artist where
2001.
he's talking about being a dick and he's like, Kubrick was never nice to anybody.
Who,
It's
me?
like, bro, Kubrick made The Shining, not when The Disaster Artist.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
When Tommy or I mean, technically James Franco's character is like talking about being mean to people. He's like trying
Yeah.
to justify it.
I think you can justify being anal about your work, but you can't justify being a dick about it.
No,
If that makes sense.
Mhm.
Your character is not like your work is not more important than the way that you treat people.
Yeah. I think this was good though of the AI being able to hack the voice and giving him different. Like that's a good use of
Yeah.
it.
It's a novel. It's
Yeah.
perfect because
Because
you
that's
know deep
Benji's.
fakes
That's
and
like their
everything
entire
else.
job. That's their entire job, and
Yeah,
now it's like they can't. I have to go in person.
Benji yet
Yeah.
again driving a boat. I do like this. It's such a I do like the way they lit this the fight in the whatever in that little area
Mm-hmm.
in the whatever the
For that
alley
little like
essentially.
alleyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Benji. It's not. It's Benjamin.
Benjamin Dunn.
It's Benjamin.
They cut down this fight apparently too,
I read about that.
which I'm fine with. I mean, the
Oof.
more compelling part is this, right? Isn't it? I love the sound
a
of
good
this.
Yo, knife fight. Let's do it.
Stab him.
Knife fight.
He's like, I'm gonna stab him.
Have you ever seen Rebel Without a Cause?
She was in a bubble. She came down in a bubble, Doug.
So what
stab
I
him.
was gonna tell you all about was they were
was
talking
a
about it
witch.
on there's a $71 million insurance payout for this movie, so it like lessened the budget for the movie.
When was the last time you saw Bin Laden?
I knew you were gonna fucking say that.
When's the last time you saw Palm Clementov? I'm like,
Oh,
I'm watching her right now.
Oh my god, dude. Not a single episode we can get through without throwing out the Bin Laden line.
One
I leaned
person
back
that
too far, my headphones fell off.
Macquarie gives a shout out to big time is his AD on this one. A young woman named Mary Bolding. And he's like, I'm nothing without my first AD, which I think a lot of directors can agree at, you know.
Oh, it's insane.
You need a great first AD.
There are some sets I've been on
They
where
always
like,
give the
AD,
shout outs to the ADs.
the ADs never really feel like they're, not to say that they're not doing anything, but like it feels like I almost have to like think about who the AD is. And then there's some sets where I'm like, oh, that's the AD. And it's because they're going around, walking around, making sure everything is like a tight ship.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like directing, and that's why I always say like directing is a coaching job, but it's like the coach has coaches too, right?
Yeah.
It's a coaching team, and your first AD, your second AD, like the whole team, like they're the ones winning awards. Like if like everybody, like that whole team deserves accolades because when they're great at their job, they do it and they deliver.
Dude, she's
so.
like,
my casting for Palm is if they ever made another Mad Max movie,
she should be in that.
She would be.
They would.
But I mean, she's
as soon as
yeah, George
Miller
explained
explained,
it, and Tom Hardy was talking about his body now. I don't think it's gonna happen. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's like I know it's not gonna happen, but I'm saying like there's an animalistic quality to like certain actors in a good way, where it's like they just the emotions that they're going through, and they're great at emoting that. So she's one of them, and it's very rare, extremely rare. Like Haley doesn't have that. Does Rebecca have that?
As soon as I saw that moment right there, I said she's gonna die in the theater.
Oh, I know. The minute I saw
I know.
I
I
was
mean,
like,
as soon as he stopped,
he literally
stopped,
says
I knew who was coming.
Like, I'm hoping it was you. I mean, like we know she's dead. I'm just like,
as soon as he stopped, I knew who was coming, and I was like, "Yep, she's about to die."
And no, as soon as this happened, I'm like, no way. And I'm like, no way. I'm sitting here in the theater going, no way. I'm watching this whole thing, no way.
Did you get up and leave?
I was tempted.
Start crying. Did you say,
I was on the verge. I was on the verge. I was
pointing at the screen.
I had a pit in my but genuinely, I had a pit in my stomach. I'm like, where are they going from this? And then they just picked up with the pace and just kept
still
going.
Hour. Yeah, there's still another hour after them.
My problem is that when you make a movie, you have to play. If you kill a character, you have to place it correctly. If I kill Ilsa Faust, I kill her at the end of the movie.
I mean, you're pulling a Hitchcock here.
But it's like, I mean, think about your favorite movie deaths. Where do they typically come? They come at the end of the movie, right?
Yeah. Damn. have to go be in Silo now. It's time.
Dune Part 2.
Your production schedule no longer lines up with ours. That's the best shot right there.
This kind of reminds me of the
Running
shot in
down that
Fallout that
hall.
we were talking about.
Yeah.
With the
This
music.
is
That was a
the
good shot.
second.
Not
This
quite the
is
same,
another
That was
time
fucking good.
where he fails, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, they're telegraphing it in the movie, right? Henry's character is just saying, he's like, "It's gonna cost you dearly," and there's literally a photo of her on the back on the TV.
Damn.
At this, I'm still in denial. Like, I live on the longest river in the world. I'm in denial.
She's gotta be on
Like, call me Dochi. I'm in denial.
Silo and Dune.
He keeps looking at me. You keep looking at me like I'm going to tell you something and I'm not.
I'm wearing my glasses without a reflective coating, so you can very much see where I'm like looking.
In about 4 days, I expect a text from you immediately after you get out of that theater. Just
Oh.
whatever your response is.
Oh, you're gonna get the full load. I'm just gonna be dumping or wait, I can't do it in the group chat. I'll do it. I'll text you directly.
No, you can do it in the group chat. Just wait till
I know Tanita doesn't care. We've been talking
Tanita
about
won't
this stuff
care.
so much. She don't care.
But I
Our
will,
little-
because I
our
won't be able to
little
see it
Baja.
yet.
Nothing but love.
I'll be
for
with
our
little
sister.
Baja.
I like how the color grading changed too for this shot.
Yeah, they definitely went like,
sad.
okay, the one day it's like it's cloudy in Venice, we have to shoot it then.
Yeah. It could have been that same morning they shot that other.
They could have shot the same scene in like a warmer tone. It's all about the
Yeah.
white balance you're
But-
using on your camera.
But it wasn't
Mm.
cloudy then.
No, but even then, my point is that like if they wanted to, they probably could have
They
still
could.
gotten that shot and manipulated it
right.
a little bit. There isn't any harsh light hitting those buildings, and there isn't any like harsh shadows.
Mhm.
But it is like you're saying, like there's clouds that would definitely add to it.
Nice.
If I
That's a
remember
little interesting.
correctly,
Gave her a different cup as opposed to just
Or not
pouring
this
her
one.
coffee.
there's a scene somewhere within the next 10 minutes that's a reshoot. This isn't a reshoot. And maybe it is. Yes, it is. This is a reshoot.
Was I close? Do you know who she was? Did you watch the other
So,
films?
Martin, this mirrors the scene that you were talking about with Fallout. The scene where we come back and he talks about Ving is like he's explaining to Ilsa.
Yeah. I was actually
Who-
thinking the exact same thing. It's a little bit different because they are talking about the IMF more, but I do still think that you're still doing the same scene.
It's the same like plot delivery. Like Ving is,
You're
that's
giving
his
us
job.
exposition for somebody
man,
who is now part of the
Fifth,
team.
fifth movie in a row. Sits down the girl. Listen, do you know
Listen.
who Ethan is?
I've known
These are
Ethan
his
for a long time.
girls.
That's how he is. I've known Ethan for
Yeah,
a long
a
time.
long time, and he's only loved 2 girls.
Girl,
He's
you
only
ever
ever
seen
loved
that
2
gimp?
women
Ethan,
before.
Ethan probably he's like, I keep photos of them in my wallet just so I can tell this story to other people. This is them. He holds them up. This is Michelle Monaghan. She was in Kiss
Have y'all
Kiss
seen the
Bang
thing
Bang.
with Ray J where he has like the hat on and he's just got like the hat is like 5 different angles in the same conversation? I'm thinking about that with this Scully that he has on.
Yeah, Ving's had the same like past 3 movies or 4 movies. It's the same conversation.
He went from a fedora to the Scully skull cap. I assume he doesn't have anything on in the next one.
I got that fedora
Can't
back.
say anything.
Nice. Base swap.
Honestly, this is a pretty good shot right here because I feel like they probably did this practically and they just use a lot of masking. Yeah, like did you see where her head was in the briefcase?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think they probably got that shot practically and they just cut the frame out where she's laying down and they were able to make it look
Yeah.
like it's in the briefcase. And then this shot where Simon
Looks
Pegg
good.
is like fixing her hair. It's probably a really
There was a
quick, like,
cut.
right there. There's a cut
Right
right
saw the
there.
cut, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
her
cut's
head
right
was
there,
at a
yeah.
higher position.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but it looks fantastic
That's the same technique that they use in a lot of like
Easiest way to cut. Go around somebody and cut there.
because the thing is
cut
Vanessa
and
has a
mask the
thinner
frame.
face, Like her
does.
face isn't as wide as Haley's face.
In 1917,
Physically?
that's how they got around all the like making it look like it was one long cut. Was that they were able to use like foreground
They do have one hard
elements,
cut in that, too.
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I know what you're
So
talking
they
about.
had like multiple shots that were like being actively like interchanged. As they
You
were
know the
doing
scene
it.
where they're going it's like the two guys are still together and they're going by the body of water and they're going like underground for a second, like towards the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, it's pretty early, like 20 or 30
Yeah,
minutes in.
yeah, it's like there's like rats there or whatever. It's the same area. But I know exactly what you're talking about. You see what I mean by like she has a
there's
wider
few
face,
cuts,
right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, 1000%.
Like it's not like it's just like a, whatever. Just objective thing where it's like
Facial structure.
even if we couldn't say like if you had this happen in real life,
Dude, low key,
you could tell
if all the
because-
masks thing was real, you would be able to tell immediately that someone was wearing a mask because someone's facial structure is just so different.
Because it's like Philip Seymour Hoffman had a wider face than Ethan, than Tom Cruise,
100%.
right? So it's like
just
if he
his
goes as
build.
Owen Davian, he would just look
And a
like
lot of
he
it
had like
also
a
has to do with
facelift.
like whenever someone has a specific type of weight, like to them, like their face just is just different. Like you lose
Like
weight,
my
your
face is round,
goes thinner.
your face is like ovular,
Ovular.
and then Pat is he's like the middle of between of us.
My beautiful face.
Your beautiful, gorgeous face, Pat.
Thanks. I grew it all myself.
Next time I'm just gonna face off. I'm gonna do this. Face off.
Oh yeah.
This it's like it's a joke in my like my friend group or like my family to do this. The thing from Face Off.
Talking about a lot of John Woo lately. I was talking about Silent Night with someone the other day. We were talking about like Face Off. It's just crazy to me.
I always go old. I always go old John Woo. I don't want to talk about the new stuff.
Hard-boiled.
Hard-boiled. Hong Kong.
They just
Silent Night was
they just did
one like a couple years ago. That's
it was like a year ago. Joel Kinnaman is in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See it.
23.
I didn't watch it. I talked to one person who saw it, and there's someone who's not really into movies, and he was like, "It was awful."
I watched 20 minutes. I had to turn it off, and I never wanted to finish it again. So
he did remake The Killer.
Yeah, the Paris one.
Oh, I hear, yeah.
With what's her face?
Natalie Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Masande of Narth.
She's got to go back to the club.
Back to the club.
Back to the club. So go back to the club. Oh man.
Young Chow Fat. Young. Is that how you say his name? I haven't looked at his name in like 20 years. Not 20 years, like 5 years.
We'll get to
Chow Yun Fat. Okay. Fantastic actor, man.
This is where I leave you until the next film when I'm called back again.
Chow Yun Fat. I know a guy who was I guess his assistant for some time. Said he was just the coolest dude.
Yeah. Luther's kind of just stationary in this.
What do you think about, or I'll pose a question in a second, but it just feels weird to me personally that when you make these part 1 and part 2 stories that you have to resolve the story in this movie, but you also have to keep moving forward and set up those things.
It seemed like they almost scrapped the part 2, as in like we'll kind of make the next one. I haven't seen it obviously, but we'll make the next
like
one
in this
kind
moment,
of its own.
When it comes to Ving, it's like, oh, we're taking Ving out of the third act because he's gonna be relevant later.
Yeah.
I liked because they did it in that, they did it in Fast X. Fast X is the worst of the 3. Into the Spider-Verse did it the best for me, Across the Spider-Verse, because you get a full ending, but you also get a good cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And
that's why I'm wondering how these films play if as you watch this and immediately put the next one on, how it plays.
I can attest to that because I literally watched Dead Reckoning at like 2:00. I finished it, drove straight to the theater, waited in line for an hour, watched the movie, and it felt like a complete story.
Completely different movie. A complete story.
It felt like a completely different movie. I can
movie.
attest to that. Yes.
Yeah. That's what I was curious about.
So
That's what I'm
so
saying.
it's not a
They
Dead Reckoning
scrapped.
Part 2 in any
They
sense.
scrapped the part 2 in a sense.
But that's the thing. That's my problem is that you are making big budget movies, and ultimately you do
This is
have
a
to.
relic. This is a
I think the
relic.
So
This goes
actually
in a
no.
like
museum.
You
my
know who did
point
it the
with
best? I was wrong. Dune Part 2 did it the best.
so
Should
that's my
I
thing with those movies
donate
is
this to the
that
Academy
like
Museum?
I knew that you were going to bring up Dune, and it's with Dune. I kind of, to an extent, understand where people's frustration lies with Part One, but also like I still think Part One ends in a way where it's a complete story, but it is a bit more on the like philosophical side of like saying that like his character has changed drastically. The plot in its own does kind of change a little bit, but if you want the full story, you do have to watch part 1 and 2. And I feel the same way about this one.
Yeah.
This one ends in
But
a
I'm saying
specific
in the
way.
sense that like the way that the movie ends and like where it picks up, where and I'm talking about on the picking up end, Dune probably does it the best out of all these movies.
Oh, a
It's
thousand
right
percent.
away.
Which I
Yeah.
mean, Fast X, we're not lost to the wind. Across the
Who
Spider
knows if
Verse,
we
like
ever
the
get
the
Fast
next
X Part
part
2.
will do a good job. You've already seen Mission, I assume it doesn't do a great job at it, right?
It's
Dude,
not that it doesn't
Dune's
do a
right
great
away.
job, but it feels like you're watching a movie where the like the filmmakers and maybe even this might have been a studio thing, but it feels like you're watching a movie where like okay, like we're picking up where the last one left off, but it also feels like
You're
we're
turning.
stopping for some reason.
Yeah.
You're stopping
Yeah.
and it doesn't feel like you're going because
It
you're
could be
setting
a
up
studio
another
note.
story.
But they're churning it all
Because the
up
last one
and they're
did. This one
doing all
didn't make
this
a lot of
work
money.
to give you an oomph, right? Which I'm not going to
Yeah.
ask you the question of like, which the
Does he
question for
die?
me. No. My question is, do they land the plane? Because landing the plane could be him dying. The plane could not be him dying. Okay, this is a scene that's a reshoot. They picked this up for sure because he's wearing a wig here, and Haley's hair is a bit different too. And then we cut right to Austria.
The Austrian Alps.
This is supposed to be the Orient Express, but I think it was Norway, if I remember correctly, that let him do the jump.
Sidney Lumet.
Oh, what do y'all think about this? I did not like that for the marketing for this movie. They just show this stunt at the,
Yeah.
in the marketing. It just irked me. I was
Mhm.
trying to avoid it for all I could, but I could not avoid it. This is Palm on top of the train. She did do this.
That's fucking sick.
The front of this train is CG, if I remember correctly. ILM's what do you call it? Their reel for this is insanely cool.
The funny enough, we were talking about it with Fallout and also Rogue Nation, and I think maybe
Yeah.
even Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, but kind of a little bit of a callback to the Top Gun Maverick thing where like the idea is that they're selling us this is the stunt for
The
this
practical.
movie. We did it practically,
Mhm.
right? In this one, it's like when you go back and watch the footage of them doing the stunt, the ramp is there, but then they mask it completely and they add the CG to give an extension to
Mhm.
like the mountaintop that they're shooting on. And it's cool
Yeah.
to see that like that's one of the moments where like the audience is able to kind of like look past the facade a little bit, where they're a little bit more
Yeah.
like open and a little bit more like we're gonna let you guys take a look behind the scenes, really,
Of how we do
because
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
you wouldn't believe that there's actually like this one thing for him to jump off of.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of CG here with like, the smoke and different like I guess the area they're kind of shooting in and like some of the trees and branches and stuff like that. Small things that they add in this scene specifically.
If you think about it though, like this is the only stunt that they do in this movie that was like the big draw.
Yeah.
The jump.
Because wasn't
The
it
jump
they did
is-
the teaser? Wasn't that the like teaser trailer for it? Was the jump?
It was the teaser, it was the jump, and then
Yeah.
Final Reckoning has the teaser with the planes, and they do a good job of hiding most of it. But if I'm being honest, there's stuff in that shot that I was watching as I was watching. I was like,
Okay.
man, like this would have been so cool to experience. Just for the
I
first
do want
time,
I want
honestly.
you to spoil something for me. Pat,
Maybe
if
what-
you don't want to
let's-
hear this.
Or
Okay,
is this going to
gonna
affect viewership?
Okay.
Spoil it after the
Text
pod.
me the answer for this, but I want to know when the biplane sequence is. Tell me afterwards.
Actually, I mean that's not really much of a spoiler. I feel like we all know where it is.
I don't. If it's okay, is it at the end of the movie? Put it that way.
I can answer it. It's not a spoiler.
Is it-
It's at the end.
Is
It's
it third act? Okay.
It is the final climax.
Okay, thank you. Good to know.
I mean, it's kind of like this. this train sequence, you knew that was going to be the climax.
I didn't want it.
I mean, when I watched the trailer, I was like, I bet you that's the end of the movie. Like, I just saw it.
Pat, you forgot I'm stupid.
You're not stupid, man.
I just don't want to know. I'm just trying to be ignorant.
Shay with like Rogue Nation.
So Tarzan and Palm both add to the, I guess, the good guys. How is Tarzan in the new movie?
Tarzan feels a little underused, but he is fantastic.
Okay. I think he has a sauce. I think he's going to have a good career. I think that's pretty much, Monica Barbaro, Bill Pullman's kid. I forgot his full, Louis Pullman. Like, just that whole crew of Glenn Powell, Miles Teller, like everybody from Top Gun Mavericks is going to have a good career.
Yeah, and Bill Pullman was no, what's his son's name? Louis Pullman. He was recast for that. Thunderbolt.
Oh, Bob?
Yeah, it's supposed to be dude, I can't think of anybody's name today. Holy shit. Holy shit. It was supposed to be give you 1 second. It was supposed to be Steven Yeun.
Oh, okay. It would have been a waste of time for Steven Yeun to do Top Gun Maverick. Oh no, you're talking about for
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts, because it's the guy who directed a bunch of Beef. He's the dude. Yeah, that's why he was going to be in it. Then again,
my
the same statement stands. Same statement stands. It's not worth his time. I love Steven.
My cousin worked on season 2 of Beef.
Really? I'm interested in seeing that. I'm excited. Vanessa finally gets some sauce to work here. And she's killing it. Truly.
Oh, shit. Their eye color is different.
The eye color is the big thing.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
So
Simple but effective. Simple but effective.
A lot of people don't know people's eye color.
You just put
if you think of someone's eye color. Quick, what color are my eyes?
It's kind of interesting though to think that like Pat, the eye color changes so much about her look.
Okay. They're not that blue.
Black hair, blue eyes.
Martin probably has dark brown eyes like me.
I have dark brown eyes.
Yeah.
I'm a bean through and through.
I'm a white Irishman.
I'm a replicant.
Me and Killian. Boys.
My eyes have that shimmer. McHugh is in
I love that line that Shay has with
McHugh is sitting in one of these train carts at some point. I know I saw him somewhere.
The shot or that part where Henry Czerny's character is like, "What's going on?" He's like, "With all due respect, sir, you're not really here."
Yeah.
It's like, so it probably doesn't matter.
Dude, Shay's hair is fucking. That's the hair kind of I want. Give me like gray slicked up. He's in F1 coming out, Shay.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like we've mentioned F1 every single episode since Ghost Protocol.
I'm excited
because we get to Top Gun Maverick and then we just pivot to F1.
No, but I just mentioned Claudio Miranda.
We were just talking about Shea Wiggum too, and he's in it. So it's like
I'm not gonna lie.
I was looking at his IMDb or his
my pull for going to see F1 100% is just Kaczynski and Claudio working together, like Claudio Miranda. Like I could not care for anything else.
I did not love Top Gun Maverick my first time watching it, but after giving it a little bit of time, I went back to it and I did really like it. I still stand by what I said about it looking just like Grand Prix, and so part of me is like, I don't know. Like I talked to people who would like think it looks fantastic, and I'm like, I mean, yeah, you look fantastic because you think it looks fantastic because you haven't seen Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Actually, mentioning that, I think John Frankenheimer's The Train.
Great film. Burt Lancaster.
That's one of the references for this third act. I think.
Say that name again, Pat Brennan.
Burt Lancaster.
You said Lancaster.
Yeah, that's how you say it in Pennsylvania. Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Lancaster.
What's
It's
the
Lancaster in
general?
California. In
General
Pennsylvania,
has
it's
the train,
Lancaster.
right? In Buster Keaton's the train or whatever the
Yeah.
general.
General,
You
yeah.
know, one thing that I do find a little bit hard to be on like I'll accept this, but I'm not gonna accept this, is that her brother doesn't recognize that she has a different eye color.
That's what I was saying earlier. I said, you
I
guys have
will
seen my
say-
face how many times? And I said the color of my eyes. And Vakash
I
didn't.
will
I'm
say
like,
I would not be surprised.
sorry.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I would not be surprised. The third movie that McHugh mentions is obviously David Lean's Bridge on the River Kwai. A lean
Bridge on the
night.
River Kwai is fantastic.
Lean.
Dude. David
Amazing.
Lean, man.
Alec Guinness. Sir Alec Guinness. Best picture of the year, 1954.
Fucking Lawrence Arabia, dude. Absolute dog.
Great year for film.
Brief Encounter.
1954.
Dr. Zhivago.
Zhivago's great too.
I do like
1957, sorry.
Bridge on the River Kwai.
Guns of Navarone.
Lawrence.
William Holden.
You see what I mean? Like, what is that cut, dude?
1957 was a banger year, man. 12 Angry Men, Bridge on the River Kwai, Paths of Glory,
Fantastic.
Funny Face, Face in the Crowd, Seventh Seal, Small
Jeez,
Success.
that's all one year.
Throne of Blood, Wild Strawberries, 310 to Yuma.
Throne of Blood, bro. Ooh, Kurosawa.
Knights of Kabiria. Fair to
Kansas
Remember.
happening right now. We got Spike Lee premiering a remake of a Kurosawa film. Is it premiering at Cannes?
Is he also showing a face in the crowd there?
Highest to
Guys.
lowest. But I think
Highest to lowest,
it's
yeah.
an adaptation.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it a remake because you already know he's gonna do something different with it, and I don't think it's gonna be an old boy situation here.
Hopefully
I
not.
actually, if I'm being honest, I want to revisit Spike Lee's Old Boy because I did
You know what my problem
After-
is?
the Santi.
Weinstein cut the crap out of it, so
Like
I just don't.
Coyote. That's fair.
I just want to see the full cut.
Yeah, I think it'll
Like,
be. I think it'll be a loose adaptation of it.
because
It's not gonna
ASAP
be
can
remade
act,
either.
but I don't know how much he
Dude,
can act.
I
ASAP Rocky.
have actually been hearing phenomenal things about his performance. Not even from like a perspective of like Cannes or even anybody who's seen like the actual film, but just from people who were there on set, people who were there for the performance. People have been saying he's very good.
Have y'all seen Dope
I was
2015?
gonna say Dope. I was actually about to mention
Rick
Dope.
Famuyiwa? I can't forget. I always butcher the man's name. Rachel Morrison shot that one. I thought that movie would have a bigger following. That entire class is fantastic.
The
Didn't
scenery
they
here is
say-
good.
Then
I
they
think
said,
this is
didn't he say
brilliant.
he auditioned for something else that was pretty big?
He auditioned for something recently, he said. And he said that he bombed.
Do
the
y'all
audition.
listen to
He did
ASAP? I
terrible.
don't. Pat is not an ASAP guy. I already know that.
I'm not
Martin?
an ASAP guy.
I used to listen to ASAP, not so much anymore.
Like
As soon as
I,
possible,
like,
Rocky.
like when he put out his first album, I was in high school. It's like it's that same era of like Arctic Monkeys, AM. Like,
He auditioned for Solo, is what it was.
So, for
He was for the Lando's role.
Lando, yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
Donald Glover better. Donald Glover, he's soloing that.
the AI is ejected. Yeah, that's a weird cut there.
Yeah, I understand what
That's a
he
weird
means.
cut.
Because the shot moved like 4 inches
Yeah, it
to
was
the
a
right.
weird cut. Like just cut to like the end, cut to like the whatever you were showing earlier. You need to cut. It's like a weird jump cut to like a different angle. Yeah, it's like awkward camera setups to me.
It went from there's 4 setups. You see them.
Yeah.
This was one, the other one was another, and then the shot from
yeah.
above was
Mm-hmm. I think that's fine framing there. And you have the one below again. And I guess technically, from a quote unquote filmmaking perspective, he's really towing the line of the 180-degree rule. That's why it looks awkward.
I think it looks
Camera's kind
awkward
of
because
all over the
But
place.
it's not my problem is not even the 180-degree roll. It's just like it's jarring. In which I mean, yeah,
it's
the point of it is.
confusing.
But I think the reason why he did it is just so when he cuts to a different angle, you're renewed in attention. That's it. Which when you're
I think
watching the
he
movie in
does
the
it so that
moment,
it can keep consistent with the rest of the movie. Like it's the way that like Pat was talking about. Like I think he really just likes Dutch angles. It's like with this one, it's like I don't think he likes to do it. I think it's just that he did it one time to fix one cut, and he had to be consistent with it, so it feels intentional. Again, we could both be very wrong, all three of us.
what's the Dutch angle number in Final Reckoning?
It's
same.
I want to
Please
say
don't.
it's toned back a little bit. I'll be
Okay.
honest with you. It's toned back
But
a
it's
little
still
bit
I
because
didn't. I
it's
didn't.
still
Yeah,
present.
prevalent.
It is still present.
I didn't realize how much we're in this actually.
The big thing that's jarring to me with Final Reckoning is like less the Dutch angles, because when you're watching this movie, and here's the thing, Final Reckoning may have the same amount of Dutch angles, but the thing that was more distracting to me than the Dutch angles was the transitions between certain scenes.
Mm.
And I wish I was joking, but again, it could be one of those things where it has the same presence and it feels like less because there's something even bigger that's bothering me.
Mm-hmm.
I understand what you're talking about.
It's like, yeah, we might have a flat tire, but we got a bigger problem. The engine's on fire now.
Yeah.
Do you know what my claim to fame for it is for Asai Morales?
George Lopez.
Actually,
He's
it's
George's
Burn
dad.
Notice. Wait, whose dad is he?
And George Lopez, you know, when they had the flashbacks, he's
his
George's dad.
Oh, you're right. Dang.
There's an episode and there's a scene where like George is talking to Max about like his dad. He's talking about how like he like saved his he saved his like gerbil, and he's saying like he swallowed a marble squirt.
George Lopez was a good show. I rewatched it during COVID. I was like, oh, it still hits.
It's all right. It's a very easy show to watch, I think.
It's a good sitcom.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of TV shows. That's what I mean.
Jericho season 2.
Interesting choice of what do you call it? Fingernail
like eye color
or polish. What do you call it? Like a clear.
Acrylic. I don't know.
Acrylic. There we go. Jeez, that's how you know I'm tired. I can't even think of the word acrylic.
I couldn't think of it, but we're also men, so.
That don't mean anything. You acting like y'all both don't have partners or something.
We have partners, but that doesn't mean I know what I can't tell you the difference between certain things.
Gonna change the world. He's really good at doing his like
this is
whisper
face-off
dialogue.
level acting right here, though, for realsies.
Oh yeah, I forgot Tom was just on a bike for a bit. A long time.
So when he's going through the forest, I told y'all about this because they were shooting this pretty early. That he's like when he was, they didn't know about the entity yet when they were shooting this stuff.
You told me about this, yeah.
And he was just like, "Oh, there's more urgency," because they knew there was a villain. They didn't know it was the entity. So he's like, "There's just more at stake here."
Was this the first thing they shot? Was him jumping?
Not one of the first things, but like
it's probably
early in the production.
Yeah. Whenever they do any movie, they always try to get the big stunts out of the way.
Yeah.
Because they were gonna start shooting in Venice, which they did, and then I assume they went here because, I mean, to some extent, this is pretty isolated compared to everything else production-wise. On the commentary, he explains it like McQuarrie explains the relationship between Ethan and Benji is being he says the same like different sides of the same coin, meaning for him in his sense that they're both on the same page, but like they're in different avenues of what they're doing. 100%. Just as characters, whereas like
they just is that like they work together. Had to kind of change his character a little bit because we were talking about with the third movie as well, where like he's just a character behind the desk, and with 4 he becomes this like almost same
Agent.
character, agent,
But he's like
just
supporting
in the field, right?
supporting agent. Yeah.
So 5, he then finally becomes the guy that's like in the fields, but he's not just on a computer anymore.
He's calling
he's
Ethan
part
on
of
his
the
crap.
team. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ethan will listen to him more. He trusts him more.
Dang, CG Dunlop tires. Crazy.
Say the Dunlop, yeah. They do a good job of like
placement.
building the tension for this sequence, because like that shot of the crest and then it just point down to just show like how deep it goes.
You're like, oh shit.
You know one thing they're missing though? Did they hit us with a wide?
They do. Here in a second.
Dude.
They're about to.
Here we go.
You know what's really interesting about this sequence too is
That's how
after
you
he
go to work.
jumps, it's like the movie doesn't deflate the same way that Ghost Protocol does, but you do almost forget that he did the jump to begin with, because there's so much happening on the train that whenever that little shot of him flying in happens, it's like it's such a good payoff.
Yeah.
I was about to mention it, that he does this crazy stunt, but it just feels like, you know, it goes by so fast that you just kind of
like it's almost you
it.
forget about it. Yeah.
It feels like light work
pretty quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately,
the other
Fallout,
two big stunts,
I think Fallout is the one where he really outdid himself. So it's like, this one doesn't really feel like a huge stunt, and it still is. Like you're jumping from the sky compared to a mountain, which I know that technically the mountain one's more dangerous because of what he says. Like there's not the right conditions, and it's not, you don't have as much time.
You have to do our wind conditions there too.
Sorry, I cut you off, Akash. What were you saying?
No. I agree. No, I agree. That's all. 100%. It's just like you said, it goes by so fast. That's what I'm saying. It's like the placement within the plot
it's the one
matters.
Stunt. It's the one stunt that they do in this
but
movie.
That's
so
the thing.
It's like
when it comes to
2 hours
stunt placement,
yeah,
it's stunt placement. It's character death placement. There's a lot of different placements within your story that you need to like consider. And see, this movie works. It's a good movie, but it's like, would we do the same thing? I don't think all three of us would have a different take on the same exact story.
If I'm being honest,
like, it's just a lot going on. Honestly.
The only thing I think I'd really change about this movie is just maybe give us some more wides, give us a different visual style to it. I think that's the only thing I would really change, because I like the story. I would even say the limitation of the one stunt is fine for this movie, because it's setting up a much bigger story with part 2 and Final Reckoning.
My version of it would have about at least one more conversation about some ethics of AI and something like that, something of the sort, and like something where it's like you feel the
that's what I find
effect.
interesting about this movie though, is that it's, again, like it's already, in a way, the conversation about the ethics and the use of AI isn't there, because it's like it's 2020.
They're already past it. They've already pushed past it.
We already know, we're well aware of what AI is, and the fact that it's being the way that it is in the story is so placed in the way where, like, if you don't know what AI is, what are you doing watching this movie?
Yeah,
like you're probably well aware of what it is.
They do define it enough to where it's like, like Ethan says, like, I'm gonna destroy this thing, and then obviously every other country's after it, and then we see the opening, which it gives you the emotional brevity, but I think there's like at least one philosophical conversation to be had about it. That's all.
Ethan's been in the air for a while.
That's what I mean, is that like it's 5 minutes and it happens like right here. Oh, actually, it's only like 2 or 3 minutes. That's crazy. I think it feels like it's longer than it is.
That's what I'm saying. Like they had that whole of them, like
it's because of the build
on the train, and then they're like, oh, then he cut to Ethan going to the woods, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot he was even chasing them.
Is it? I mean, I think there's a good chance that the reason that it feels like that is because the stuff on the train feels like it's much more intense,
longer.
Yeah,
but that's the thing.
What's happening with the stunt, even though they're laying a lot of thing I would say feels like it should be more intense.
They're laying a lot more story too, right?
Yeah,
you kill Cary Elwes's character.
There he is.
You almost kill Palm at some point, or like, you know, there's that story. Then there's a story here of, you know, Haley's character, and
you know what I think it is actually too, that I think about with like let's talk about the big stunts, right? Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, Fallout. All of the
Yeah.
big stunts have to do with Ethan being the one to drive the story. And this is the one movie in the
He's
one instance
not.
where the stunt's happening and it has nothing to do with him being part of the story, rather him entering the story.
But
Entering it, yeah.
but
and so
it is
at this point, it's like the story's already happening without him, so we're just waiting for him to show up, and then it feels like the movie gets going again.
But
So,
on
like,
paper, technically,
You're
it's,
basically
it's
waiting
the
for him
same
to
thing
just
where it's
enter
like
this scene.
he has no choice but to end up in this place. There's the only way to get here. It's the same.
Yes. But my point with that
what
is
you're
that, like,
saying
look
is the
at-
correct thing.
Look at Ghost Protocol, right? They're trying to get into the server room to serve the story. With Fallout, they're trying to get into that water thing to change the things to serve the story. With the helicopter,
Trying to save the opening of the movie too with the plane.
Stunt.
He's serving the story with the
is the
opening.
one movie where I'd say like the stunt is happening where it doesn't feel like it's not serving the story, but it's like you're driving the story forward, but it's not serving it. Does that make sense?
I assume
it's secondary to what
story,
they're doing
in the new one.
What'd you say?
In the new one, he's serving the story though, right?
Yes. To answer your question, there's 2 stunts.
Yeah.
And yes, that he is. But again, it also does feel again like you're saying where like the story was kind of an after fact. Like in that, like
the train is already chugging. And it's not. It's like someone has to go choo choo.
He has to catch up to the story.
Ethan is the one saying choo choo, but in this, he's not saying choo choo, right?
Yeah.
It's already chugging along.
It almost feels like there's like one stream of line that's just across a screen where it's like the story is part of the stunt. The stunt is part of the story. In this one, it's like the stunt is not part of the story, but it's rather
the stunt.
How do we get
the stunt
back to the
gets
story?
Ethan into the story.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that like you do have this stuff with the train, so it still feels like he's doing a lot of the stunts, and it is.
Oh,
But-
it is.
I remember.
This
them
is the more
filming
okay.
this.
I don't know if y'all agree with me on this. I don't care about the jump. I care about this more.
This feels more intensive.
Like,
it's
I
happening and
care
it's a
more
little bit
about this
more-
than him jumping.
Good,
Sorry,
good
Tom.
callback to the first film though.
It's very speed-esque here.
That's it's speed and mission 1. I do like the speed 1. Mission 1 is fine. This is really good. And then the Skyfall does it for a bit too.
This last train sequence is like 50 minutes of the movie. Like this whole everything on the train. It's been like the last 50 minutes.
Yeah, it's like the last hour all takes place. on the
But it's
train.
also
The
but
mask.
Shea Wago, man. But I think it's also this is also another COVID thing, right? Where it's like we can do a lot of story. It's gonna look elegant. It's gonna be fun, but we're the majority of the work inside. No, all the work inside is being done on a set.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we have to be outside on top of a train, how many people do you need?
Yeah.
I don't know if
She's trying to put her
y'all
way
remember
too
seeing the
fast. That's
video
not real.
of
Of
him
what?
of them like being on the train shooting and
I
like
remember
people are
that,
like
Yeah.
They were
He's,
talking
like,
about
waving to them.
Tarzan and Shay were both talking about how and I love that I hear this from every single person who's worked with him on things is that like he's very encouraging about doing the stunts and being like, let's do this for real, but also like he is so reassuring
Safety
about the fact
conscious.
that like he is so safety conscious about everything. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's why at the end of this movie you will see. I was talking about Wade Eastwood last time. Wade Eastwood is second unit director and stunt coordinator on this movie yet again.
Mm-hmm.
And half the job, or no, not half, majority of the job when it comes to stunts is safety. That's why
100%.
when a situation like
It's
Deadpool 2
100% of the
happens,
job.
it breaks your heart.
The big thing with anything when you're working on a film set is depending on what kind of set you're working on, they may do a safety meeting for the beginning of the shoot. They may do it like once a week. They may do it every day of the shoot. And most of the time it is every day of the shoot.
Every day, yeah.
I can't imagine how these safety meetings go.
Yeah.
These must be insane.
You
If
just
y'all
have to
watch behind the
trust
scenes
what they're
for
doing.
Fallout, they're literally sitting there. They're doing the same thing that Nolan was doing with Dunkirk, where it's like you just have model planes, like little toy planes or whatever, and you're choreographing how you're gonna go do this in real life, and it's
Oh, they have
just
to. They have
it's
to, yeah.
insane. And on
There
top
is
of
so
that,
much
there's
planning
all
that has
these
to go into
safety
these kind of
protocols.
things.
Yeah, That's why my only issue with Dunkirk is there's some lighting continuity where it's like you're not even gonna notice and it doesn't even matter because like they pulled this off and it's awesome.
The thing with Dunkirk that I
Mhm.
would say I agree with you,
It's
because I've
perfect.
seen it
Besides that,
before.
it's
Is
perfect.
I am so much more forgiving with Dunkirk because like, dude, you were shooting on IMAX
1000%.
cameras. Like you are
1000%.
already limiting yourself with how much you can do in terms of like takes and how much you can do in terms of like, let's redo this shot because something looks a little bit off. It's like
But
the
the thing,
immersion is so there.
but the thing is, some of those cockpit shots they didn't even do like in the air, and it all looks like it was in the air. Like you can't tell. I can't tell where they didn't do it in the air and then where they did it. In poor man's essentially on the ground, which is that's a feat in and of itself. Dutch angle,
Dutch angle.
That single move.
Yeah.
Tarzan Dutch angle.
If you had to take a drink every time there was a Dutch angle, maybe you'd be drunk by the
Blacked out.
30 minutes.
What do you
Blacked
mean
out.
drunk? You'd be
Yeah.
OD'd.
Yeah.
You'd be more alcohol than blood.
Blackout within 40 minutes.
Blackout with Tom.
Pat is just gonna name this the Dutch angle episode.
That Dutch angle, aka the Dutch.
I think our thematic conversation really
see,
today
even
has been
there-
about visual language.
But even there, like the way they shot Shay, like it went to the other side. It doesn't look good. Like it just looks like it's just bad editing. Like it went from here, 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 here. Like it's just like
But
why?
The
are
problem
you...
is what you just said. It's here, 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 here instead
Yeah,
of
it's
here,
so much. Yeah.
here, here,
Here. That's it.
here.
Like,
People
why
are
do we
gonna be
have-
people. Tony's gonna be listening to this. You're like, what the hell are these guys talking
here.
about?
It's like it's like you have to like look at what we're seeing. Which
Every
is...
time we do an episode now, and we have to talk about like someone listening, we just gotta use Tony as the example.
Yeah. 3-minute countdown, just in case Ethan needs 3 minutes.
Good old 3 minutes. Why is it not 4 minutes? Why couldn't they play Madonna and
Yeah.
Timberlake? And I would have preferred that. I like that.
That was a great little bit. That was a great little bit. All right, everybody.
Shay's awesome. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. I feel like Shay just came in and he's doing what Jason Momoa was doing in Fast X. He's like, I'm gonna have the
Yeah.
most fun I can and just
Yeah.
push this to the best limit.
I mean, he is, but also this is a significantly
Obviously, this is a
than
better
Fast
movie
Six,
than
no
Fast
matter how
X.
much we're dagging on it.
Yeah.
The most of what we're dogging on has to do with the editing and
Like
like I do
production,
think
yeah.
I do think for the most part the story is pretty solid in this one.
The movie works. This
Yeah.
movie, on a bad day is an 8 out of 10.
It's a solid movie. I think it's a 4 out of
Yeah,
5.
it's a good movie.
It's got some editing issues and it suffers, I think, from a lot of what we were saying with like the story being,
Yeah.
stunt over story and being where it
And
is.
ultimately the problem is how big can you go, right?
Mhm.
It's like the issue with any story is that in any sequel that you make is you have to keep going bigger, keep doing bigger,
I think
keep
unfortunately, like
going.
the big thing I would say that I want to compare this to, but it kind of hurts to say it, is that like it's almost like the MCU putting their little seeds in things and not even thinking about
Yeah.
where it's gonna fall. Because
Yeah.
this one, it's like, yeah, your story is there and you're gonna figure out your story later, but at the same time, like maybe figure out your story before you figure out your stunt,
Start
because
shooting,
now
yeah.
it feels like your stunt is no longer in service of the story. It's just there because you did a cool stunt.
Yeah.
Yes, it does end up in the story, but also it doesn't feel like it's pushing the plot forward. It's pushing the plot in
That's
a way
not,
where
yeah.
everything else is
Ha-
happening and you're
When I
catching
think
up.
of a Mission
Are you
Impossible
all-
stunt, my mind doesn't go immediately to this one.
No. Do you all know the concept of carrying capacity when it comes to biology?
Like the thing about like your how much you can weigh or how much you can carry based on how much you weigh.
No, carrying capacity, it essentially applies to an ecosystem, like let's say like a river, like let's say, Atlanta has, this amount of space and this many resources and this much natural stuff there. And
Mhm.
depending on how much population you have, a population thrives to a certain extent and then it'll like just stay steady from there. So it's like there's only so much you can do with the like the materials you have. And it
Yeah,
feels
I
like
mean, I
they
would
hit.
agree with that to an extent, but with
I'm gonna
filmmaking,
give.
it's
Let me
it's
give you
like
the
it's strange
analogy.
because you're literally writing the story as you go.
The analogy here to
Yeah.
me is that they hit the carrying capacity for the narrative of Ethan Hunt with Fallout. So it's like this movie's kind of evening off and kind of dipping just a little bit compared to that.
Yeah.
Because there's nowhere you can't go further up than that. What do
Mhm.
y'all? I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff
No,
out
I
there.
get what you're
It's
saying.
I think the story is still there. I think the story works as good as Fallout does. The thing with Fallout is it's a much tighter movie. The editing is on point.
Hmm.
The cinematography looks great too. So
Yeah. It
I think
feels
the
like
reason
a
that
bigger movie than this is.
even with that sentiment that I had mentioned about the story not being served with the plot of the stunt, I still think even with
Yeah.
that sentiment in place, it's one little tiny thing that I can overlook based on the fact that the rest of the movie is just so fun and it's so well written, but it looks like a TV show. It's
Mhm.
edited in a really weird way. There is so much happening in terms of close-ups that you don't get any chance to look at the geography or how any characters are related to each other.
Yeah.
The blocking is never there because everything is just a close-up of a close-up of a close-up.
Everyone's
Like,
just yeah.
I really do think that visually this movie just suffers, and it's not their own fault. It's unfortunate what happened with COVID and just how that made films. But this movie being the way that it is still a huge, impressive feat.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And this scene actually, that
That is
you
the
can
nicest
actually
thing I
get a
could
bit of
say about
scale
this
here.
movie.
Mm. I think you
And I
nailed it.
really
Pretty
praise it.
spot on.
I
But
always
that's exactly
feel
what it is. It's
like
like
whenever I
how,
criticize anything now that I have to like really say like I don't hate this movie because
Oh
even the same
yeah.
thing with Final
Well, you can
Reckoning.
criticize. Yeah.
but that's why my tagline is essentially always substantive criticism,
Yeah.
meaning that you have substance within what you're saying. Some people are just like, oh, this is bad. But it's like, no,
Yeah.
half the
Or they'll say
job, not half
nah, this movie's mid, and you're like, okay, great
half the job
analysis.
is figuring out
You
why
don't know how to
does it
talk about
not
movies. You
work.
just don't understand why it's mid.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you have to understand it's like there's so much work being put in and they have an intention obviously to this, but why didn't it work for us?
Mm.
Why is there a disconnect and why are we making these comparisons in the first place? And like obviously we just talked about film versus digital and we live in an era where it's like there is no difference at this point, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
But in the context of
shouldn't
this
be.
story, there is a difference.
so let me ask you this: with a film like this, do you feel like the editing is something that you notice right off the bat, or is it something that you notice like as you rewatch it?
I think I noticed it.
Rewatch.
So that's the same thing with me
Yeah.
too. The first time I watched this, I was so
Locked in.
excited to
Locked
get back to
in.
this world that I was able to
Yeah.
look past editing. But rewatching it the other day before Final Reckoning, I was like, man, this has some weird editing.
Yeah.
And it looks kind of ugly. And there's also like this really
Yeah.
weird tension that's not there.
Especially going from Fallout right to this. It's
And compare that
Yeah.
Eddie edited Top Gun Maverick
This.
also.
no.
And
And I don't want to. I don't. It's the word to use, but I don't mean this in a negative way. But this movie is janky compared to those two.
Mm-hmm.
it's cheaper. I mean, it does look cheaper is the thing. I don't fault it for that, for what it was working with, but unfortunately it just does. But also, like, with watching Fallout and being able to watch this when I did, I took I think like 3 or 4 day break between Fallout and this because I was on vacation. I came back from vacation, literally went to the streets of the theaters to watch this. Watching Fallout and then Dead Reckoning in the same day is the reason that I noticed like this one looks like a significant step down in terms of visual quality,
Yeah.
like what the film is doing. And that's with the staging, the blocking, the cinematography, the visuals, the visual language, edit, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my problem with this movie is
And I am loving the
main
thrill
thing
of
is the
this. You know,
editing.
this is still metal. Like, it's still a good time.
It's good set pieces. It's just again bizarre editing choices.
And my problem is judging this movie. If it's like for me, it just feels like half a story still.
Yeah. But then I guess it's not part
It
2,
feels
so
like it feels like we took
There's
a
Dead Reckoning, man.
entire like
There's no part
we
two.
inhaled an entire like lung capacity and then we're waiting to exhale on the next movie. But I don't
Mhm.
know if the next movie is an exhale emotionally. So because
When your
you're
lungs
building
It
collapse.
feels like you exhale emotionally multiple times, if I'm being honest.
so you're gonna be having a panic attack.
Dude, there was a
Your
point,
lungs have collapsed.
there is a point in Final Reckoning where my watch was telling me to like relax.
Calm down,
Like
yeah.
like my BPM was so high.
That happened in what was it? Oppenheimer.
Mine was the same way for Oppenheimer too.
We'll see if it
What's
happens
funny
for
is
this one.
that
I
like
hope it does.
I never look at my phone during a movie if I'm in the theater. Like it very rarely
No, I
happens.
don't either.
But if when your watch does that,
will go
it
off
like
and it tells me like the BPM will like tell me like, yo, you need to like whatever the fuck you're doing, chill the fuck out.
But the whatever
you watching
the
a movie now?
vibration it gives you is like it's a alert,
It's
like a
different
scary
kind of
alert.
vibration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
I can
wanna
ignore
watch.
messages.
I'm watchless.
I usually just use it for a few things. Like I'd say like health and fitness. Like I'm able to track. how
My
much
problem
I'm
is I don't
run,
my phone is on
progress.
vibrate and I never pick up my phone. Like it became a
My phone
problem
is on
work wise.
That's
That's what, no, that's why like my watch is there so I know to pick up my phone.
You
And
see,
I- and
Yeah,
I-
get,
sometimes I
I don't
just,
wear
I'll-
rings or
I'll
anything.
call you back because I
My
don't
only
hear you.
fashions like my only thing I love watches.
Did you notice that the subtitles thing that I talked about earlier is gone? Where like the
Now it's
subtitle will
back
show
down to
right
the
next their
bottom.
face?
Yeah,
It
now
goes
it's
right down to the bottom
bottom.
because they're so close up to them.
Again, editing. It's fucking weird.
No, but that's the thing. Composition wise, the composition is crazy different compared to the other movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
This feels contemporary framing in a bad
Yeah.
way.
I don't mind the framing for this
Netflix
shot right
framing?
here. I think it would work, but also like the whole movie looks like this, and that's why it doesn't work for me.
Yeah,
If
My
it was
problem
that's what I
is
definitely
that-
noticed.
it'd be
I've
a
noticed
different
this a
story.
lot. There, it's just every shot.
And
Yeah,
what I
like you
mean
said,
by
looks exactly
contemporary
like
framing
this.
is like it feels like cameras have become closer. Like you see how I'm sitting in the camera right now, right?
It's because of streaming. They know that everyone's watching
Yeah.
stuff on their phones.
Yeah. And
Whereas
I
this
and
one,
I
I
like
don't think that they wanted
I
to shoot
prefer
this way. I
this.
think it really was just that like
Yeah.
Like where
they
I'm
were
sitting
trying
right
to
now.
like work with what they could.
I
Do you think
prefer
Tom
this.
watched this? Yeah. Do you think Tom watched this and was just like, a lot of close-ups?
I think Tom may have just been happy that they finished the fucking movie.
Yeah. And it sounds like we're like dogging on this a lot, but it's like
We
I like
really
this
do
movie.
appreciate it. It really is just
Yeah.
more
No,
the editing
I-
and the visual.
this is
I
still
like
like
this movie. I think the story, like you said, the story's good. It's just bizarre
As
editing
of now,
choices and framing. It's just it takes
it
you
still
out of
sits
it
at 3
for,
or
for
4.
minutes. Yeah. It just takes you out of it sometimes where I'm just like, that's weird. But again, I forgot about this stunt. I forgot about it. I just thought about it right now. Oh yeah, he jumped off the mountain. Go, Ethan. Nice. Damn, that was fucking sick. Do a little flip out.
That's the flip that he did in Mission Impossible 2, but better.
Yeah.
The little moment.
The fucking flip. He's like, no, I
Little
need
eye
to come back.
twitch.
I need to come back for the
Sullenly.
last one.
Not just the eye twitch, he's shaking his hands like he's shaking the gun.
I mean, I know why he's doing that now, but
You know what?
funny.
I'm glad you know, because I want to know.
You'll
I
know
want to
soon.
know.
You'll know soon enough, lad.
No, but like
need
you get what I'm
I
saying.
need you
You
to
said
trust
that
me.
if you tell me that
One
they have a
last time.
past, tell me what their past is. You know, you understand what I'm saying, right? It's like
I'm not gonna say
you showed me the
anything.
gun. You have to show me why the gun was shown, right?
Hey, yo, homie, is that my briefcase?
Exactly. The briefcase has relevance.
Yeah, it is. Why you
The
want to
key has relevance, right? I mean,
That's the
I do
briefcase.
love that. It's such
That's
a
the
lo-fi
MacGuffin.
thing.
That's the
Yeah.
MacGuffin.
I love
You
a
don't need to
lo-fi
know
MacGuffin.
why.
Lo-fi
I mean,
MacGuffin.
you need to know why. It's propel
This
your
shot-
story forward.
This shot of Ethan on the like the
But Ethan-
parachute,
The
that first
MacGuffin,
shot
the
was
MacGuffin, Ethan's the story of these.
I prefer
movies.
this
The MacGuffin
to
is
the
just
other-
that
to
key
the-
because Ethan
Don't-
draws the story.
This is awesome.
That's the pattern,
Do a close up here with this.
bro.
That's the
You're
pattern, isn't it?
bugging.
Cross you've left to bear. You see, where did
Gosh,
Benji go?
bugging.
20 minutes, dude.
That is the pattern.
That's the pattern, isn't it? The cross you wish to bear. Those who you wish to keep alive.
You were bugging, Vikash. You were
You see-
bugging.
No, see this one right here. It like it actually feels whatever this little whatever descent down was in a lot of wides. There was no close-ups.
Because they couldn't
Again,
fucking get a
and I was
camera.
like, oh
look,
yeah,
but
this
look,
is
but
awesome.
look where they are. Look where they are, though. You can have. There's 2 people in this scene.
And there's only one person
And
in
you
the
see
shot.
the framing here.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Is that like you could have put the camera so far from them, and they're in the same car. You don't even get them in the same shot.
Yeah. It could be
COVID really
so
fucked
many
up this.
COVID restrictions. Yeah. Restrictions.
Are
Look
they
at that.
even
They're
in the same car?
They're in the
They're in
same
the same
car. You
fucking
could have
car.
gotten
Are
a
they
bar
in the
shot
same
with them.
car?
Yeah.
No,
No,
but
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 that's my
are
point
they
is
in the
that,
same
like,
car?
Yeah.
I don't think
They
so.
aren't.
I
That's
don't.
probably
I
COVID.
mean,
yeah.
they're in the same car, but they're not in it together.
They're not even in the same car.
Yeah. They're not in it together.
Yo, the hype here at the end though is awesome.
All right. Now we're throwing on Crimson Tide.
No, I'm being serious. Like, if you told me to watch Crimson Tide right now, you told me to watch Crimson Tide any day. That's pretty much with any Tony Scott movie.
Yeah.
I will watch it.
We are.
This last,
Finishing
just
our
like I said,
mission.
it's called Current Call. It is so
All right, you
fire.
guys.
We have
Mission
We have
Listen
Impossible.
to that score.
Final Reckoning. Go catch it in theaters. Thank you guys for watching this with us. We had a
Catching in
blast.
theaters. What?
Yeah, I know.
May-
7 movies down.
May
20
22nd if
May
you sing it
22nd.
Thursday.
At 6 p.m. in IMAX.
I hope
Yeah, there's
everyone
not gonna be a
enjoys it as much as I
commentary.
did,
If you want a
because,
commentary,
a-
you got to go to the
There'll be a
IMAX to see it.
commentary in October when the 4K comes out. Bye.